If it hurts, you ain't the brakes, no get you, don't let up, put on more speed. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, through the game, tackle, this win it is. First shooting game, we're here for the first minute. Carry block, keep it every 6 minutes.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Doesn't have to be perfect, ain't gonna be perfect. We go compete for 60 freaking minutes. All right, enjoy the opportunity, enjoy the environment, and then go play our butts off, play for one another, and have a hell of a lot of fun. Everybody got me?
Yes,
all right.
Man, we blessed to do this. We blessed to wake up. We blessed to be standing by each other. We cannot take these opportunities for granted. There's people that wish they'll be doing what we was doing. There's people that call us crazy for doing what we do. But they don't understand. Every time we touch this grass, it's a certain mentality you gotta have. And you can't just turn it on. We gotta wake up with it, we gotta train it. We ought to make each other better. I need you. I need you.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here.
Make the decision. You're either a Vol or you're not, through thick and thin.
But you know what? Let's talk a little Vols. That is not me trying to take any shine away from the phenomenal channel Talkin VAWLS that my guy Boogie Bentley runs. So shout out to them. But let's talk a little Vols here.
Wouldn't trade this Tyler for a stone cold $1 million. My green all comes blue collar and I'm all good with that. This world's been changing, but these folks around here, they ain't been. They all still windshield waving when they slow rolling past. We could live a little higher on the hog, but I don't think that we'd be no better off. Not everybody got that spot out in the 40. Some 10-point birthday shot hanging like a velvet trophy. Fridays in parking lots outside of somewhere holy. Not everybody likes this kind of life, but we do, don't we? Still working hard like my daddy told me. Still keeping low key, still riding high behind them low beams. If you don't know about this, nowhere you don't know me. Not everybody thinks we got it made, but we do, don't we? It might be simple, but these 2 lanes, they're my temple. And that river rolling gentle, wash my worries away. I used to hate it, but I travel lots of pavement, and there ain't no better places at the end of the day. So I pass the plate and thank the Lord He put me here, and pray that towns like mine don't ever disappear. Not everybody got that spot out in the 40. Some 10-point birthday shot hanging like a velvet trophy. Fridays in parking lots outside of somewhere holy. Not everybody likes this kind of life, but we do, don't we? Still working hard like my daddy told me. Still keeping low key, still riding high behind them low beams. If you don't know about this, nowhere you don't know me. Not everybody thinks we got it made, but we do, don't we?
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. He is Coach Jay. Now's the time. Now's the time where I need the old It's Groundhog Day. I feel like we're going back to the charity stream. Braylon Staley gets hit. How dare Kelsey Pope hold a meeting? How dare he try to coach his players while we're trying to have Braylon Staley on the show? Now, I don't know if anybody has seen. We're going to put it out right now. Going to put out a missing persons report. If you have seen a 6'4", 310-pound man wandering around with an odd face mask on his helmet, tell him how to find Talkin VAWLS Live. Hey, look, we're having fun. We're telling jokes. Sam is MIA. I just talked to Sam recently. He was going to come on tonight. We're still waiting. I've not heard back from him, but look, they're back on campus. He told me that he would be back on campus this past Sunday, and that, they could call meetings. He has, I have no idea. So he may be stuck in a meeting. I sent him a message. I sent his mom a message. But hey, we got a show to do. There is plenty to talk about. So we're just going to flip the show upside down. We're going to talk about some of the things that we may have talked about on the back half. We're going to talk about those things now. And then if I hear from Sam, we'll get him added on the show. We'll have a good time, and we'll just play it by ear. But come on in. Pull up a chair. We can talk Tennessee football. That's what we can do. That's what we do all day, every day right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. How you doing, Coach? How we feeling on this, what is it, Wednesday?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing great. I feel like it's been a long time, Boogie. I mean, like, other than playing video games and hanging out on Sunday night or
But
what
that don't
have you.
count.
But
That's
that don't
not
count. That
Talking
don't
Balls
count.
live.
It's not Talking Vols live, man. I feel like I've been away, and it's like those friends you have that are like either your winter friends that you go ski with, or your summer friends that you go surf with, or you only see them a certain time of year. But man, football's family, and all the Vol faithful are my family, and I'm happy to be home and back here on Talking Vols live.
I get a little pep in my step when I promote. I'm like, we go live every Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. We play blah, 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 blah. I have a little bit more pep in my step when I say Talking Balls live on a Wednesday. It's different. It's different. I feel like the band is back together. But maybe I'm just thinking, I'm kicking things around here. You know, we're spitballing, we're improv. Maybe we start the show 15 minutes late every week. You know, because we're starting the show 15 minutes late, and you're in the back room going, Boogie, they're just gifting Talking Balls memberships left and right. And we're going to be doing some members-only streams. So you got to have a membership. We need your support. Well, you guys are just giving them away for free. Luke Thompson gifted a Talking Balls membership. We appreciate that. Robert Tuck also gifted a Talking Balls membership. Luke, look, he gives another one and another one. Luke is giving away all kinds of free Talking Balls memberships. We appreciate you, Luke. I don't know. They were trying to gift one to Jason, maybe, who was having credit card issues. I don't know, but I appreciate the support. Christian Gentry just does it the old-fashioned way. Just hits that join button down below. We appreciate that. Thank you for the membership again. Custom Talking Balls emojis, fan call-in shows. We're going to be doing members-only streams coming up soon. Bob has been, it's White Lightning, has been a member for 23 months. Welcome home to Rocky Top. Sam, can't wait to see you light it up in Neyland. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it, brother. Robert Tuck for 2 says, welcome to the hill, Sam Pete. Well, we're trying to see if he can find the hill. We need to see if he can find the hill before we welcome him to the hill. I'm going to keep an eye on my DMs here as we roll. But thank you, Robert, for the super chat. David Hall for 2 says, just a deuce in the jar. Love you guys. Thank you for that. We appreciate the door fees. Todd Landers for 2 says, door fee. Hello, Vol brethren. Luke Thompson for 2 says, door fee. Yeah, we got a ritual around here. You got to pay the dues. You got to pay your offering. Put it into the offering plate. We appreciate it. Dell Dowman for 5, door fee. Go Big Orange. Shout out, Dell. Appreciate you. MG Way is here for 5, says door fee helps with those off-season blues at GBO.
Amen.
It also helps with those off-season bills, MG Way. So I appreciate those door fees and super chats. Ryan Gaynor becomes a member of the channel. Shout out, Ryan. We appreciate you, my man. Peyton K for 10 says door fee. That is a generous door fee. Shout out, Peyton. We appreciate you. Kevin Smith drops a 20 spot. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top!
Kevin says, going to miss this training with the boy. GBO tells Sam that he and the boys need to wreck some MFers this fall. All of Vol Nation is behind them. Thank you, Kevin. We appreciate it. Bob drops a 5 and says, door fee for Sam. Shout out, Bob. Appreciate you, man. So if you're just now coming into the show and you're saying, why is Boogie and Coach Jay, why are these knuckleheads talking to each other? Where is the man of the hour? Too sweet to be sour. The big 300-pounder. We're waiting. He's MIA. He's not seen the message yet, so we don't know if he's in a meeting, if something's going on. But we got a show to do, and we're going to do it backwards. So we will add Sam if he pops in, if he DMs me. We'll take care of it. But I do want to say Colton Hood that transferred in from Colorado is going to be here next Wednesday. The following Wednesday, Big Ant, Anthony Agamore, is going to be in the house as well. So tune in. We're going to be going live on Wednesday nights. Hopefully we can get some more interviews scheduled. Brad for 20.
Rocky Top!
He says, GBO, any breaking news from Coach Jay? You're the one that's active on Twitter. You're the psychopath on Twitter. You're the one that's putting all your news.
Well, it was too much. It was too much of a tease.
Maybe it's because I know what's going on, but
okay.
If you want to say anything, say anything. If not, say Boogie, read the next chat.
Not yet, Brad and Boogie. Read the next chat for now. I'll keep everyone up to date as that progresses.
Coach Jay doing big things. Sethanator for 5. Boom, boom, room entry fee. # throwback. Jim Slagle for 2. Ready to talk Vols after the baseballs are done. Thank you, Jim. Bleed Orange, member for 38 months, says, what up, fam? What's up, my friend? It is good to see you in the chat. You know you're a member of the Talkin Vols family when somebody asks where that person's at. Hey, Boogie, where's Bleed Orange? Well, I don't know, man. He didn't text me and tell me why he's not been in the chat, but he is back. So it's good to see Bleed Orange back in the chat. Look, I want to go back and revisit my video from this morning. And again, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to put on a show, and Sam hopefully pops in here in just a little bit. But I wanted to get Coach Jay's thoughts on this. We're 80 days away. 80 days away from kickoff. And there's a lot of talk, man. Of course, right? We're going to be in the headlines. And a lot of people say, I'm sick and tired of hearing about Nico. You might as well go ahead and buckle up, because you're going to hear his name from now probably until the end of the season. Guess what? Syracuse game, they're going to talk about Nico. Georgia game, they're going to talk about Nico. Every big SEC game, they're going to talk about Nico, because QB1 is no longer QB1, and we got Joey Aguilar coming in, and J.D. Piquel put it out on Twitter. Tennessee will have a better quarterback production in 2025 with Joey Aguilar than they did with Nico Iamaleava. Here's why. He's got the full video there. We're going to take a listen to the clip, but Coach, I know you watched the video, but when you see that on Twitter, like, what's your initial reaction when you hear that he says he thinks Joey Aguilar can be more productive than Nico?
I mean, my mind kind of went to right what he talks about was kind of like from a stat line angle. And yeah, you could definitely see that. Man, it's so tough, right? Because there is such a huge jump from the level of competition that, Joey was at App State to, I mean, even to a place like UCLA, let alone a place like Tennessee, where you're going up against Alabama, Georgia, Florida on the road. It's just a big jump in competition. So, I'm with JD. I think there can be a stat jump, but at the same time, I want to see it at that speed. I want to see it at Southeastern Conference speed before I knee jerk into it. But look, Heupel is just one of the best offensive minds around, right? It's a brilliant coaching tree, a long story tradition coaching tree on the offensive side of the ball. And look, they've been known to get a lot out of, I mean, I would argue every quarterback he's ever coached. I really would. I mean, if you want to sit here and have the conversation that, we didn't get as much out of Nico or Joe as you wanted to, yeah, you can make that argument, but you could also make the argument that Nico broke a lot of freshman records at Tennessee. You could also make the argument that he put Joe Milton, a quarterback that was failing out of Michigan and looked like he wasn't going anywhere, into an NFL quarterback. So you could there's two sides to that coin, and like anything, two things can be true, and there's probably truth in both sides to that coin. But can there be a stat jump? Yeah, sure, absolutely. Is there a big jump that he's going to have to prove he can make? Yes, right? I said it with Nico. I said it with Joe. Tennessee quarterbacks are always going to be judged by one thing and one thing only: how they perform on the grass in the Southeastern Conference on Saturday.
I think the interesting thing about this story, Nico, portal, UCLA, Joey Aguilar, sees the writing on the wall, portal, Tennessee, everybody's calling it a trade. It's not a trade. Josh Heupel didn't sign up for this. Josh Heupel didn't want his starting quarterback to hit the transfer portal. I can promise you that. But there are so many layers to this, and I think you could really take any narrative you want. Like, you could take the Nico narrative and run with it and say there's no chance that Joey Aguilar is going to be more productive than Nico. And then you could also argue kind of what we said all last year, right? It wasn't just Nico. When you're looking at it from a numbers perspective, a stat line perspective,
sure.
You didn't have to be very productive throwing the football. You went 10-2. You made the college football playoff. You lived on defense. You lived on running game. You led the conference in rushing yards per game. So Nico didn't have to do that. But with that said, when I look ahead to 2025 and I go, well, guess what? Joey Aguilar doesn't have to do that. Joey Aguilar doesn't have to go out and win you a game. Joey Aguilar can go out and manage a game. But I think if he puts up numbers similar to Hendon in his first year in the system, we're going back to the college football playoff. We're going to beat either if I had to pick between one of the big three, I think you get Alabama on the road. I think Florida's a tall task. I think Georgia at home's a tall task. But I think you could go 10-2. I think this defense is going to be elite in 2025. The wide receiver room, I get it. It's a question mark. The offensive line, I get it. It's a question mark. Doesn't mean it can't be good.
Yeah. Hey, look, and we can keep talking about Joey too, but Joey's got to win a quarterback competition of his own right now, right? Against a quarterback that I know a lot of us are very fond of of Merc Slinger, right? You got your Cult of Jake guys out there, just like you had your Cult of 8 guys out there for a long time. Now he's gonna have to win that cornerback battle. Make no mistake about it, right? So let's not put the horse before the cart either with Joey. But let's say he goes out there and does win it. Yeah, I think this defense is going to take a step this year. I'm on record saying that before Nico left here. I do think they'll take a step. I think that'll be a big part of Tennessee's success throughout this season, most definitely. Yeah, look, if whoever comes back in and their numbers improve off of what last year's quarterback numbers were, for whatever reason that is, then yeah, I think they are back in the playoffs. You still got to have that timely play, right? You still got to have those moments. There's moments in everybody's quarterback career. Let's just take Hendon, right? Let's take someone with incredible success at Tennessee. There's going to be those moments where you need to succeed. That deep pass to Brew McCoy to get you into field position, right? That was caught. That big pass right before half to Ramel Keaton that Hendon had against Florida that was caught on those fingertips, right? Flash forward to Nico, the pass in the back of the end zone to Brazil, right? You're still going to need those moments no matter what the landscape is. Do we get those moments out of this new quarterback where it's tight, where you're in the muck of SEC play and you need a big moment, whether they're managing or whether they're improving on the stat? There's going to be that catalyst moments in games that you need out of your quarterback, and that's where Tennessee is going to need on-time play. I think the defense, the run game, will be able to hold the Vols, neutral ground. But will you be able to get those big plays on the road, I think, is going to what dictates how successful this season is for Tennessee.
I'm going to play this clip, and then I'm going to come back to something else that I talked about in the video that I really wanted to expand on more and really didn't. We got Foul Ming in the house. I got to get Foul Ming on here. When somebody's coming on for an interview and they're late, we you got to understand, we lay out a show. I'm not going to bore you all to death with this. We lay out a show to do the interview in the first half, and then Foul Ming's he's prepared for hours to come on and do the second half of the show. That kind of, you prepared, you put in the work, but that kind of throws off the show. So I want to make sure Foul Ming gets on here because he was a big part of what we're going to talk about here in just a second. But what are your thoughts on this? Foul, I don't know if you watched the video this morning, JD Piquel talking about better production with Joey Aguilar. Is he that delayed?
No, I'm here. I thought you were going to play the clip first and then get thoughts.
Oh, no. I was just getting your opening thoughts on it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Coach Jay there. It's kind of a stats thing. It's kind of hard to judge apples to apples exactly, but I get what he's saying. I mean, you bring in some experience. You bring in the best coordinator he's worked with. You're going to work in a more fluid offense. You got more weapons around you, right? Everything's set up for him to do well. Everything's set up for him to do better than anywhere he's been, right? But at the end of the day, I think he's comparing, if you go to those stats, he's comparing Nico's last year's stats, obviously. So we don't know what Nico's stats would have been this year. It's hard. You can't really compare him to what Nico would have been because we're never going to know that. We've said that 1,000 times. But if you want to compare him to Nico's redshirt freshman year, sure, his stats will, I would assume, be better. And if his aren't, Jake's definitely will be.
All right, let's take a listen to the clip here from JD, and we'll kind of go through it.
Joey Aguilar will have a better statistical season in 2025 than what Nico Iamaleava had in 2024. Now, this sounds a little bit harsh, but like Joey Aguilar having a better year than Nico Iamaleava did last year statistically, it's not that hard. Nico threw for 19 touchdowns last year, 5 interceptions, and it was good enough to get you to the college football playoff, 2,600 yards, cool. But Joey Aguilar, in a down year, quote unquote, at App State, threw for over 3,000 yards and 23 touchdowns. He's going to let it rip. Just personality-wise, the way he plays the game is different than Nico Iamaleava. Some of this could have been Nico's first year as a starting quarterback, all the hype, all the expectations at Tennessee. Maybe that wears on a guy, but Joey Aguilar is not afraid to cut it freaking loose. And if you're
Oops, I went backwards. By the way, I got to play this now because I went backwards. You seen this? That's a middle-aged man showing off his athleticism and then crashing and burning immediately.
I was about to
after.
be impressed for just a second. I thought he was going to nail it.
But come on, it's still impressive because watch this.
Yeah.
If you pause it right. Look, boom, he's out. He nailed it. Like
Was
he
it
nailed
3 feet?
it.
3 feet?
Yeah, that's impressive. That's some athleticism.
Yes,
But
sir.
in the process, man, I completely canned that. But look, what I wanted to say is the fact that Joey will cut it loose, the fact that he will let it rip. Everybody wants to point to the interceptions, right? You look at the numbers, the number of interceptions that he threw in those 2 seasons. Obviously, he threw a whole lot more last year when he had less talent around him. But also, you got some athletic playmakers at wide receiver, coach. Mike Matthews is a guy you can throw the football up and let him go get it. And there were times that we kind of said that with Nico. Yes, he didn't turn the ball over. Was he scared to let it rip? Sometimes if you do let it rip, if you got the right playmakers, can that be a positive? Again, pick your narrative and run with it because you can choose either side of this coin. And, we sell a shirt called You're Muted.
We are back, baby. We are back. Wednesday Night Live. We are back. Yeah. Hey, look, we can paint it every which way. I'll do it here for you in a second. Yeah, he's going to have a lot better weapons than he had at App State. A lot bigger hosses around him, right? 100%. Like, that's something as a Tennessee fan, you're licking your chops over. And I'll tell you what, all of us, everyone in this chat, you Boogie, you Foul, Sam, if he comes in here, we're all praying that equivalates, right? From App State to here, that he can run with it, right? Because if he does, we know what we have on the defensive side, right? We know we can have an effective running game in Heupel's offense. And this team is poised to make a playoff run if they can stay healthy and get good quarterback play, right? Solid quarterback play. But why I bring up that equivalent thing? It's like, yeah, you can do that. You can grab Lenora Sellers or Lagway's stats, right? Any freshman SEC quarterback stats. But you can also say, okay, what would that be if he played App State's schedule? I mean, last time I checked, Tennessee put up 71 points against App State level competition in games last year. They put up 69 against Chattanooga, 71 against Kent State. Like, I mean,
what do you think about this though? If you just take
give
the
them that
quarterback
same
and move
schedule,
him, you take the quarterback and move him though. Like, right? Like Joey Aguilar had nobody around him in 2024. Had a little bit of talent around him in 2023 when he had a more productive year. But you're talking about this past season, App State losing season for the first time since I think it was off the top of my head 2013.
Sure.
Head coach gets fired. It was a train wreck.
Sure.
It was a problem. So much that like he loved App State. A lot of the fans, it almost reminded me of Philip Fulmer. When Philip Fulmer got let go, it was time to let him go, but it was also heartbreaking for especially people, my age that grew up with Fulmer, man. That was your guy. That's the guy that you saw win a national championship.
Sure.
But it was time to let him go. And the same thing, again, App State, it's not just the team, it's the people around him, right? Or not just the players, the team around him. What do you think about that, Foul Ming? Like,
well,
you take Nico and put him at App State. Is he gonna put up Heisman Trophy?
Of course, he's gonna break every record, right? Right out the gate, it's how much do you weigh in? How much is the team? How much is coordinator? How much is I see you, coach. How much is the quarterback himself, right? Like it's hard to grade a guy if you say, well, we don't have any weapons to throw to, or if you don't have anybody blocking for him. I'm not picking on App State on one particular front. I don't know their line that well. I don't know the receiving core that well. I just know Tennessee's overall is going to be better. But how much weight do you put on just the quarterback position? Granted, that's obviously the most important role or the most significantly impactful role, right? But it's just really hard for me to judge that apples to apples, man. I don't know. I think his stock can only rise. That's where I put it. But my thing with him is going to be, he wants to let it rip. He wants to sling the ball. How quick can he get comfortable? Will he sling the rock if he's uncomfortable? And if that's the case, well, is that going to lead back to the turnovers and interceptions and things like that? Like how quick, and I think Hop's probably one of the best in the country, but how quick can he get him comfortable to where he knows where and when to sling it? That's my first key.
And like, look at Hendon Hooker. Like there's a guy that he watches every video, comments every video. Every time I talk about the quarterbacks, he says Joey Aguilar is not going to work out because it takes 2 years to have success in Heupel's offense. Not at quarterback. Hendon Hooker came in, year one and put up. And that's why I keep going back to, if Joey puts up the numbers Hendon did in year one, we're going to the college football playoff. I truly believe that. And I get what you're saying. It's apples to oranges. But I truly think if we get that level of quarterback play, because our defense was go back to 2022. Our defense was nowhere close to where we're at now.
100%,
right?
yeah.
Not close.
But that's where I think it comes down to confidence. I really, really, really think it comes down to confidence. Like, if the guy is confident in this setup, he is actually absolutely going to sling the rock, and we're going to be fine. But it's how quick can he make him comfortable? And that's also not just on the coaching staff. That's on your receiving core. That's on your offensive line. That's on your running backs and their pass pro. All those guys got to work together to make sure, whether it be Joey or Jake or George, you got to make that guy comfortable to where the things around him is not a factor, and he knows I can go out here, play ball to the best of my ability, and sling the rock.
Let me tag on to that just a little bit more too, Fal, and expand on that, because I think you're right. If we're having conversations like we had last year, where it was, hey, this week the offensive line, man, they didn't have it together. They were jumping off sides. They weren't protecting backside. They were miscommunicating with the running back on that pass pro. The wide receivers, when the O-line was working, they were dropping the ball. Or hey, we had a running back fumble right when we got going. If that conversation happens again, it's not going to really matter what Joey Aguilar, what Jake Merklinger do. If those problems aren't fixed, those problems are still going to be the main story the offense continues to have, I guess what I'm saying.
And that's why, again, anybody out there in front of a microphone can choose any avenue they want to take this thing. You can say that Joey is going to be better than Nico. You can say that Nico was going to be better in 22. You can go whatever direction you want, because what Coach Jay just said are the facts. Sometimes it was the wide receiver. Sometimes it was Nico. Sometimes it was the offensive line, and it was maddening. But guess what? We got a new quarterback. We got 4 new dudes on the offensive line, and we got 2 brand new guys at wide receiver. Like, there's so many unknowns, but dang it, I'm excited about the new faces at wide receiver. I'm excited about Sam. I'm excited about Wendell Moy Jr. I'm excited about David. I wish he had time to get comfortable, but I'm excited about David Sanders. Dude, he's a dog, man. He's a dog. It's going to be my catchphrase all off season. Just because it's new don't mean it can't be better.
Well, no. Everything you hear about David's just how quickly he's adjusting to everything, how quickly everybody's become impressed just right out the gate. I think he would have been, even if we hadn't lost anybody, I think he would have been a starter sooner rather than later, just based on work ethic and growth around the weight room and things anyway.
And I think that's why Larry Johnson left. Right? He knew that.
Right, yeah.
He knew he was not going to be the starter.
No shame there. No shame. No fault there. Writing's on the wall. Do what's best for you. I just want to tag on one quick thing that you brought up, Boogie. Like, another thing, not just the players around him on offense. How much confidence do you think this defense will give Joey, knowing, hey, if I make a mistake, these guys got my back. If I have a turnover, if something sloppy does happen, it's not the end of the world. I don't necessarily have to go get a score right back. Like, I know these guys can play. So how much does that factor in when he starts thinking, like, I'm just going to go out here, like you said, and just let it rip?
Oh, I think, like, talking about confidence, he's a confident kid. I think he plays loose. I think he's confident. But I also felt the same about Nico. Like, 2024 was it was frustrating for me. Like at times, you just wanted him. It was always something. You could see it on Heupel's face, right? You could see it on his face. But of course, I think as a quarterback, as an offense, if you know you got a defense that's elite, hey, I make a mistake, who cares? Well, we trust. And that's what they did all last year, which, again, pick your lane. How do you want to argue this? I think at times they went conservative on offense because they knew what they had on defense. So Nico didn't have to go out there and throw for 3,000 yards. It bit him in the ass against Arkansas, but it won him a football game against Oklahoma on the road.
Well, this is kind of a question for you, Coach. Like, how much do you think, with all just the hype and the pressure and things, how much do you think maybe Nico tried to be too perfect at times, or do you think that even factored in, or you think he just went out and played ball and it didn't matter?
I mean, pressure is going to get to every quarterback to different degrees at different times.
For sure, yeah.
So I think that affects every quarterback, and any quarterback who, even the calm ones feel that pressure. It's just how they digest that pressure and deal with that pressure, and how they handle it from a physicality standpoint, and how to be calm under pressure is a big thing. You learn to be calm under pressure like you learn anything in football through repetition, right? So I think we're starting to see that over time through Nico. It's impossible to tell, and like we said, we'll forever have been robbed to know what he could have or could have not done here, and that's fine. That ship sailed. It's all about Tennessee moving forward. But look, Joey's going to be under a lot of pressure, and yeah, you know, he's a gunslinger at App State, and will that carry over? Yeah, it will. I think it will at first, but when he starts having his first bumps in his road, he'll have them. He'll get them, right?
Sure, yeah.
He'll get into somewhere. You would think so, right? Yeah. Hey, I hope he does. I hope whoever this quarterback
It's football. It's going to
does
happen.
it, and it's smooth sailing the whole way. But it will happen at some point. How do they digest that at the time, right? How do they bite down, fight their way through it? That's what's going to matter to Joey or Jake or whoever takes over this position.
Let's carry that into the next portion of this whole thing with JD PicKell, and that's what's more important, right? Because how does he respond? Well, I mean, he's 2-year starter. He's played a lot of football, a lot of Division I football. I get it; it's App State, it's not the SEC. It's still Division I football, right? So he's got a lot of experience. Two full seasons.
Freedom flamethrower. Is that who we're talking about?
Two full seasons as a D1 starter, right? He's been there, done that. He's thrown enough picks to know how he's going to respond if he throws a pick, right? He's thrown a few of them. So he knows how he's going to respond. So what's more important? All that experience as a starter or experience in Josh Heupel's system? And that's what I touched on briefly in the video this morning, but I ran out of time and didn't really get to dive into it as much as I wanted to. And I'm curious as to what you guys think about it too, right? And, we've not had a quarterback competition since 2021, and we're sitting here talking about what type of numbers Joey Aguilar is going to put up. Meanwhile, coach is saying, well, we've not even figured out who the starter is going to be. But what do you think, Fowl? Like, again, Joey, my poor wife. We're driving back from Dollywood, and she's like, I don't know, man. I don't know why you're asking me who Joey Aguilar is going to – but seriously, you roll into town. Jake Merklinger's been here for 18 months. Jake Merklinger's got a relationship with Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley, Chris Brazel. They're already throwing. We've seen the pictures on Instagram where those guys are going out, putting in work, and they're throwing. Joey Aguilar comes in from UCLA, and it's like, hey, guys, I want to throw. Nah, we're good, man. We're working with Jake. We don't need you. We don't need you. Or do they open the door and say, come on in? But either way, Jake's got way more reps with those wide receivers than Joey does. So what's more valuable to you? That chemistry with the wide receivers, timing with the wide receivers, 18 months in the system, or 2 years as a starter?
What you hit the key word there, I think, is chemistry. But man, that's tough. That's tough because all the things Coach was talking about a minute ago come with that experience, in-game experience, being able to stare down the defense, not get rattled, know what's going to happen. If I do throw a pick, if I do have a turnover, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to come right back. But then you turn on the other foot and say, well, Jake has the timing, he has the chemistry, he knows where that receiver is going to be. And it's one thing to watch film and know what the play is, know what we're running, know what the scheme is, and know where I'm supposed to throw the ball. That's one half of it. But the other half is that knowing that individual receiver, knowing where he's going to be on that particular route. Because every receiver that runs that route, it don't matter if they run the same route, speed, size, whatever it may be, how they manipulate a defender, is going to be in a different spot. So knowing where that guy's going to be, man, that's tough. Like I know I'm giving you a no answer here, but like it's really that close to me. Like I want a guy who's not afraid to sling it. I want a guy who's going to put it in there. And I think I may favor that first. I think I may take experience because I think the chemistry and timing can catch up faster than maybe than experience, because you can only get game experience one game at a time. I can get chemistry and timing every rep, every practice rep, every day from here on out. So I think as far as if you compare the two, I think Joey can catch up faster on what he's lacking versus, with the timing versus Jake gaining experience and how fast he can gain that experience. So if you made me choose, I'm going to say I'm taking experience. I'm taking Joey's experience first because I think that he'll catch up faster.
I think Josh Heupel has shown that he prefers experience, right?
100%.
And that not even quarterback, just across the board. Coach, any final thoughts on that? Then we're going to move on to the next topic. Man, I'm selling all the shirts that say Coach Jay, you're muted. By the way, I love the fact that Coach Jay, repping Talkin VAWLS merch, Foul Ming, repping Talkin Balls merch, and I'm repping David Sanders merch. You're welcome, Big Dave. I hope seniors in the chat.
Well,
Tell Dave I said
Kentucky's
hello.
having a rough week, so I figured I would go ahead and give them a little extra salt on the wound.
Love. There you go.
Yeah.
I will say this, with Joey is a 1-year rental. Merck is still young, right? Still learning this offense. And George right there and Faison about to come in. I truly don't believe Heupel has any true allegiance on what he needs to do here. I think he's really free to pick whoever wins that job outright. I will say that. I think he truly is. I don't think he needs to show any preferential treatment to any of the guys. I think he'll be a true who goes out there and wins the job this summer. Now, can that quarterback win this thing quick enough to get the reps that they need in the summer sessions early enough to affect play early enough in this season is going to dictate much of the Vols' success in the first half of this season.
Do you think Hype's going to know who the guy is through summer workouts?
Yep.
Or do you think he knows who the guy is now? He's not. We're not going to know. We're not going to know till Syracuse.
He's got a good idea of it, Boogie. I promise you, they've watched film. They've watched enough cut-ups. I mean, look, I can sit here and pull up my All-22 account and show you as many little cool cut-ups as I think I can. But I guarantee you, they've got the coaches' cut-ups from the schools they've been at. They have all the film. They've watched the Kennedy assassination from every angle at this point, and they've got the full dossier, and they know who they think shot that second shot from the grassy knoll.
Up and to the right.
Yeah, and to the right.
But coach, from a coach's perspective, where do you lean with those reps? Do you give the reps to the new guy who needs them the most, and give Jake less reps because he knows the offense, or do you try to hedge your bet there and give Jake equal or more reps?
All right.
You better give him to that freaking guy that's in the back of your head that you think's the starter. That's who better be hitting him.
Total conspiracy theory, but here we go. Right?
Okay.
Part of this is too, who's the locker room loyal to right now too? That's the other little piece of this that we haven't said.
3 weeks.
They could love Jake. They could be a Jake locker room at this point. And if that's the case and you think Joey's the guy, then you give him equal reps and let Joey go try to win that loyalty away. I think you got to start him out equal the first 8 days of practice.
Fall camp?
And you got fall, yeah. The
so
first 8 days.
Enough in 8 days to know.
8-day fall camp. Yep, I do. With the off-season work, I think you give them 8 days. That doesn't mean that they still don't get, after those 8 days, I'm putting it at a 70-30 split, right? Until I'm the week, that next week. And then the final week before practice week, I'm going to skew that number again, would be my thought on how they're going to roll through that. Right.
I want to catch up with you guys in the chat. We're going to continue rolling through. We got a bunch of good topics to talk about. We got a brand new commit today, a couple of hours before we went live. We're going to talk about that and talking about coaching and film breakdowns. Coach Jay is going to take a look at a couple of plays. And we're going to talk about Tennessee's latest commitment. Somebody put in the chat, said, where is Sam Pendleton? I don't know, but if you have seen him, if you see the big 6'4", 310-pounder with the weird face mask, tell him that I'm looking for him. And I don't mean harm. Have you seen his dad?
Be careful.
Dude, his dad looks like the type of dude you ain't going to try to date his daughter because you're terrified of that man. And I think Sam gets it honest from old Papa. But Sam has not responded yet. I talked to Sam a couple of days ago. I talked to Sam on Saturday, and he was good to go. Everything was good.
I saw the message.
Oh, you did? Did I? Oh,
is that what you sent to me? Yeah.
I can't remember.
I think you did. I can't remember either. I'm pretty sure you sent me some message.
This happened with Braylon Staley back on the charity stream. Kelsey Pope called a meeting, impromptu meeting. Braylon's responsibility is to the University of Tennessee. Sam's responsibility is to the University of Tennessee. Now, Sam could have just forgot. Sam could have a family emergency. So I'm watching my DMs. I've messaged him and his mom both. So if I see something, I will let you guys know. We're going to continue the show. And if Sam pops in, guess what? We'll ask what we're talking about, and we'll get Sam on here. We'll do the interview. We'll have a good time, and I'll even put a timestamp in the chat or in the comments. So if you're watching this on the replay, they'll know where to catch this interview. Next week, Colton Hood, transfer DB, came to Tennessee from Colorado. I just talked to him today, confirmed with him. He's going to be here next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Anthony Aguimura is going to be here the following Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And I'm working on something for the one after that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But, hey, look, we got things to talk about, so smash the thumbs up, share out the link, all that good stuff. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Let me catch up with you guys. Wayne for 5 says GBO. Shout out, Wayne. I appreciate that super chat. Robert Beatty for 10 says member for 23 months. I love the show and GBO. Well, first of all, Robert, I'm glad you dig what we do. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you for 23 months of being a member. The memberships drive this channel. We need your support in the offseason. It's easy when we're doing post-game shows and tailgate shows and everything's great. It's tough in the offseason. So those memberships mean the world to this channel. That's what allows this thing to roll on all year long. So thank you, Robert, for the support. Also, Luke Thompson gifted another membership. Somebody got a free membership courtesy of Luke. Thank you, Luke. You're being very generous with those tonight. Jeff Clabo, been a member for 14 months, says Vol World Order. Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate it. Tyler Maxwell for 2 says, whatever the starting lineup, can't wait. Yes, we are right around the corner from football season. What is it? 80 days. 80 days away. Retro. He says he's a safe driver, but he's also a Georgia fan. He's been a member for 8 months. Retro's kind of like family. He's that weird cousin, uncle that you don't really like, but you allow him to be a part of the family. So shout out Retro. We appreciate the support. David Berg has been a member for 33 months. Ryan drops an Orange Boy. We'll roll back up here. Oh, dude, I had another clip queued up ready to go to have some fun, but I got to go back and find the clip. We'll play it.
Rocky Top!
Ryan for 20 says, Boogie by God Bentley. Nothing but a tip in the jar, my guy. Shout out, Ryan, man. $20 ain't cheap. We appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. Let's roll into let's talk about the commitment. We'll talk about the commitment, then we'll talk about all the NCAA drama. We probably won't go too long with this, but this popped up. Man, foul me immediately. It was like the bat signal went up. It's like I was laying by the pool and I was looking at my phone and I saw the tweet from Austin Price and it had just been out for 2 minutes and 30 seconds later, foul me and goes, you going to make a video or what, bro? No, we're going to talk about it on the live stream. Breaking safety KJ McClain has committed to Tennessee. Bear with me here because my notes are all over the place because of everything that went down. Let me scroll back up. KJ McClain, 3-star safety out of West Orange, New Jersey, 5'11", 160. Me and Coach were kind of talking about this commitment, and I don't want to spoil the film that you're going to look at, but I asked your overall thoughts. And when I saw the profile, I saw 160. What was your initial reaction? What did you tell me when you watched the tape?
I told you that. Well, number one, right? I always like to start with the frosting on the cake.
I know. I just threw you under the bus.
The kid's got feet, man. Like he's got feet, hips, a knack to.
He's got 2 arms. He's got 2 thumbs. Yeah, but he's got a nose. He's got 2 ears.
I mean, in that football coach way.
Sorry, Coach.
Feet, elite feet, elite hips. Tackling, Coach Jay, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a football defensive coach. He ass down, head up, wrap up, knees to nuts, hat on the ball, right? I just want to see less ankle tackles out of him and less shoulder tackles out of him at the end of the day, right? And that comes down to hard-nosed hitting in the trenches and getting it in the weight room on a college campus. And that doesn't mean he can't get there. It just means it's something he needs to work on in his game. But if this kid's tape pops up in my log and I'm recruiting him, I'm taking him every time because he's got those quick feet and hips that you can't teach in the defensive backfield that are really, really good and hard to master and fluid.
I went to VolQuest, and Coach Jay had not been to VolQuest, and his high school coach, VolQuest asked his high school coach about him. He said, KJ is one of the better players we have had come through here. Said he comes downhill at you. He is a sure tackler and plays well in space, and he really does a good job for us. Things to improve on. I think it's just going to be the physical piece of the game. And again, when I saw the commitment, I saw the size. Hey, look, man, he's going into his senior season. He can put on weight. He can add that weight. And the coach goes on to say he's really taken to the weight room this year, gotten bigger, faster, stronger. I think playing in the SEC, you have to keep building his body. His work habits are there. His brain is there. He really understands the game. So I think it's going to be continuing to work on his body and physically being the best player he can. He was just in town for his official visit this past weekend. Supposed to be visiting Michigan State coming up this upcoming weekend. That visit has canceled. He pulls the trigger, and he said, I chose Tennessee because it is a great place to be, and I felt really comfortable. I saw that Coach Heupel really cares for you, his guys. Man, Darius Gray is a guy like, I mean, the examples are just lined up, right? Anthony Agumore's story, because of just how special that story was, with his little brother, and they didn't want to bring him, and Coach Heupel's like, no, we're family. He's coming. Like that. Just all the stories that we've heard about the culture, and then hearing that Darius Gray, like that was one of his priorities, and now Tennessee's the front runner. Dude, you give me David Sanders in the class of 25, you give me Darius Gray in the class of 26. Recruiting is off to the races.
Ed Baker too.
Dude, he was massive.
Monster.
Massive. He is huge. Do you have any thoughts about the commitment, Fao Ming? I know we kind of threw this out there because it happened so recently.
Yeah, it's cool. I probably looked over the same stuff as you did, so if I reiterate something, sorry, but I do like that. One thing I read was a plug and play guy. They thought he could play multiple spots. Like you said, he's committed to the weight room, which is good to see, because now that he's committed, Tennessee will probably put him on a program. They'll tell him what to do, what he needs to be doing. And then we all know what happens once he gets on campus, after he gets in a nutrition program and a weight program. But I do like the plug and play thing, because you look at what we've been doing, and it kind of seemed like a pattern. Tennessee keeps picking these DBs that are versatile. They pick a lot of guys who can move around. That way, when you gain size, gain speed, whatever it may be, they got multiple spots they can play them. I think Hood, a good example, they can put him in multiple spots, right? We've got several guys on campus already, same type deal. Did you also see, I think his brother's playing Ohio State, and his dad played college ball, so the DNA's there, right? We know this guy's been around ball. We know he should be able to play. And then he chooses Tennessee over Michigan State, Penn State, and Rutgers. We all know the kind of money Penn State's throwing out there. So if he still chooses Tennessee, and recruit after recruit after recruit, man, is saying culture, love this staff, love how they just down to earth, it's becoming a pattern, man. So like, all good things. But the biggest thing for me was just when I seen that versatility. I love to see that. That's going to get you on the field quickly. It's going to give us options, and just want to see what comes of it, man.
We're going to go watch a little tape, because that's what Coach Jay does. If you don't know, if you've been sleeping under a rock, Coach, the coach name comes. He wasn't born by the name Coach. I think a lot of people think
Coach, last name Jay.
First name, yeah. I think they think your first name is Coach. That's not the case. He actually coaches a little high school football, then on to a D3 analyst. So he knows a little something about football. So I always like it when we get a defensive prospect too. More so when we get I like linebackers, I like edge rushers, but we'll talk a little secondary here. Let's pull up the tape. Coach, you said let's roll with this first play. 37 seconds. So we're going to go through this play, and then we're going to kind of just let it roll after that, and Coach Jay is going to provide commentary. But tell me when to pause on this first one. Here we go. Tell us what we see.
Well, we see a nickel look out of the defense, single back set, trips to the side of the screen we can't see. So KJ is going to be our safety. He's got his feet about half a yard in front of the bottom part of that J that you see right there. There you go.
It's been a minute since we've done a breakdown.
Yeah. We're gonna get it right. We're gonna get a zone read, right? You're gonna get a fake to the running back. Quarterback's gonna pop out here. And Boogie, if you want to maybe let's pause at the mesh point, and then we'll talk about a couple things real quick. And one thing I want you to kind of notice right here, he kind of just slides into the wash right there, right? Into the garbage. And, linebackers, I want to have active feet. Number 28 in front of him is not doing that correctly. He needs to be filling that gap, but we can talk about that later.
You want me to hit him up, see if we can get him on here?
Yeah, get him on here so we can trash talk him. But just that slide, right? Just calm, patient. He's a safety right now. He knows he's fast. He knows he can explode upfield if he needs to fill on this run. But he knows he's got that backside quarterback as well. All right, that mesh point happened. Boogie, your second pause point here is going to be when he gets about a yard to that inside Y slot receiver and number 8, his defender there, right almost as he's about to cross him. He pop. Yeah, pause right there. I love how he keeps his shot angle just a moment before that in the pause. But his shot angle here, why I call it shot angle, right? Yeah, right here, because his hips, there he's made a decision, but that moment before it, his hip is semi-crossed in his angle, right? So if he needs to, it's all right. It's the step before it, but if he needs to change that step, because there you go, right? If he needs to swivel that hip around, notice his head is turned inside of his defender, inside of that cornerback, right? So, or I guess it would be the other safety there, but his head's turned inside. So if he needs to swivel on that angle, he can still take that inside cut, right? But he's got nice hips, and watch when he plays it, he closes really, really fast, and he doesn't bring his arms with him here, which I hate, and it's going to be a topic throughout this video, right? That ass down, head up, wrap up, hat on the ball, but he's going to missile in on this. And the last thing you're thinking here is pop that football out with his helmet when the quarterback's carrying it on the correct arm. But man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, what a timely hit on the ball, and the pad level low, right? We talk about the ass down part of that, right? It's there, but I want you to wrap up, right? You get against bigger backs, bigger quarterbacks in college football, they can bounce off that shoulder. They'll hold on to that ball at that launch point. Yeah, you'll get some knockouts at the college level where you're able to pop that hat out with the quick close. But more times than not, especially when there's multiple people meshing together here, you got a safety that's being washed down by that Y slot wide receiver here. You get multiple people collapsing at each other from different angles. That's when you can get a bounce off by a running back and a quarterback. You need to bring those arms with you, shoulder blades back, wrap up, bring those arms with your helmet. But I love that he looks at what he's hitting in the ball on his way in. I love that. But Boogie, can we watch it just all the way through in full speed? And just notice his close speed between when he gets to about the S in that St. Joe's and to where he gets to the hit point. When he gets to the very, very first part of that S, watch the close speed once he decides he's not cutting inside that slot wide receiver. From here to there, that close speed, man, oh man. That's what we call short stack close speed in a closet, right? And whenever I get a defensive safety who can play in the box and close inside a 5-yard space, side to side, north or south, you know you got something special in a safety. Boogie's going to just kind of let some stuff go quick. I want you to kind of notice something, fam. He closes really quick, but right there, ankle tackle, right? 100% ankle tackle. Now watch, pop, 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 quick close. Once again, ankle tackle. Upheaves because he knows it's an easy tackle, right? High school kids don't pick up their feet. They have lazy hips. Look at that quarterback's knees. No lift to them, right? Yeah, you're going to get away with that tackle at the high school level. It's going to be, watch this close on this ball. Once again, that 5-yard burst of energy right there. So fast, but just that closing speed and not bringing your arms with you. Right there is the one time in this film I think he brings his arms with him. So if it's me, I'm getting him in hitting right there, just a shoulder tackle, right? Yeah, it looks good on a highlight reel. It looks really good right there, but I promise you, you get Brock Bowers coming across the middle and you lay that shoulder and don't bring your arms with you, he's going to run right through you or bounce right off you, and Retro is going to be laughing at us, right? if after Bowers bounces off of him. So he's got to fix that, but really elite in his burst. It's just I need him to go for the hips, not the ankles, and bring his arms with him at all times. The feet are short, choppy, typewriter, not a lot of wasted steps, conservative energy, good hands. He doesn't get out of control with his hands. I just want to see that tackle level be at a college tackle level.
And that pursuit angle, right, Coach? He seems to have an elite pursuit angle. But I'm with you
Very much
on once you get there, the size and speed difference is going to be drastic. But
yeah, this
to
rundown
go with that
right here
closing
too.
speed, that pursuit angle is really impressive.
Yeah, right.
You haven't seen him just blow by anybody. Like, he's on it. He's got a hat on the ball.
In those quick bursts, right? Especially for a safety, a lot of times you're reading and got to make a really quick jump. Like, hey, this was here, now it's going to be there, and I need to change in a hurry. I need to not change I need to change directions. I don't need to stop, right?
When he commits, he commits.
That's so hard as a DB or a cornerback. If you think about going through drills where you're backpedaling, moving at an angle to the left, at an angle to the right, backpedaling, forward running, as defensive coaches, we talk about never stopping, just changing directions. This kid has that, and it's the hardest thing to teach. If you ever want to go out and do something hard, go walk out in your front yard, go backpedal as fast as you can, and then change directions and go the other way full speed without stopping. I promise you, it is really, 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 really hard. This kid does that really, really well. Another shoulder tackle right there. He's just got to get that fixed, man. He's got all the other tools that you could possibly want on a football field. Oh, and by the way, we zipped forward through it, but dangerous when he gets the ball in his hands as well, as you can imagine. Could be a really, really good punt returner.
You think some of that tackling could improve with of course, when he gets size, but do you think he'll get confidence as he gains size, and then he'll start to maybe more get away from some of those ankle tackles, right?
Absolutely. And Jason was talking about in the chat, 100%. And you can tell that's his junior film, and just his pictures that I've seen of him walking around more recently, he looks like he's in a different body already. I mean,
I've seen some article I read on him said he was 6'1", 180 now. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's because On Three said what you said earlier, but you 5'11", 160 or something. Mm-hmm. But I don't know where I may have got it. I ran through it really fast, but I got 6'1", 180. So I think he's definitely still got some size to grow into.
Sometimes they have to verify, like On Three. I don't know if they'll change it till they verify it. I don't know if that's accurate.
And who knows the last time they checked?
Right, right, exactly. So if he says
your high school, bro.
Yeah, if it's 185, and then you got his high school coach saying that he's putting in work in the weight room. So we'll see. I'm putting up the bat signal. I'm calling in the big guns. I am checking all the boxes and saying, hey, if you got Sam's number, text him now and get him on. He's active on Instagram, so he's not in a meeting. He's not in a meeting. He's being a college kid that forgot his responsibility. So we are doing everything we can. We got Big Ant's dad on the job. Big Ant's dad is on the job right now, trying to get things done. But we still got plenty to talk about. And this was, man, I almost wanted to make a video on it. And Falming, you sent me this. And then I wanted to make a video on it. And I never made a video on it because recruiting got hot and heavy. And now I can't find it because I've got 85 tabs open.
Well, I've seen you so much stuff, man. You got me stumbling. I'm like, I don't know what we're going to go into.
No, it's the
defensive stuff.
No, it's the ESPN. No, it's not that.
The paying players thing.
The ESPN put out the article about the house settlement.
Okay. Right. Hobby. I was getting excited.
No, but I think this is worth talking about because there's so much going on. There's so much out there, and it's like, dude, I listened to a 35-minute video on the house settlement today, trying to figure out exactly what's going on. I'm loading up the article. They got an ad playing. But this is the article that you sent me, Falming. Did you read through this entire article, or did you just watch the little video clip?
Well, I watched Pete Thamel kind of broke it down. I watched the video of that, and that's kind of where I got more of a concise breakdown. So you go over what you want to here, and then I'll touch in.
Let's play the clip. Let's play the clip first. I think that makes more sense is to play the clip first, and then I'll kind of let you lead into what you have seen and heard. Here we go.
What does all of this mean for major college sports? Well, Jay, we should not overlook the historic nature of Friday night's settlement. It allows college athletes to be paid directly, revenue to be shared with them for the first time in the history of college sports. The athletes that have long been the engine of this billion-dollar industry are now going to formally get their share. That is significant. It should not be overlooked in all this. How it's all going to work pushing forward seems to be, from talking to people around college sports last night, a bit of a transfer of issues just into a new paradigm. Instead of worrying about illicit payments, people are now worried about, outside of the $20.5 million cap, how people are going to manage name, image, and likeness payments from there. So I think it'll be a new chaos. And the question of the settlement will be, will it settle down a landscape that has been chaotic? It's been called the Wild, Wild West, I'm sure you've heard, Jay, for a long time. Will a new rule structure, will a new governing structure bring a little bit of serenity and a little bit of peace to the college sports landscape?
I don't know. I think new chaos is more in line with what we're headed for, like you said. Look, what will this new salary cap do for parity once it takes effect next year?
Well, in theory, and we see it in the NFL and other sports, that salary cap should, if run purely, elicit some parity. But the issue, the thorny thing that coaches are extremely concerned about, I get calls about it all the time, will be how name, image, and likeness deals outside of the salary cap are managed. The College Sports Commission has brought in a new CEO. He was announced around midnight last night, an MLB executive named Brian Seeley. He's going to oversee this and have an unusual amount of power, much more so than the NCAA did adjudicating these types of cases. He will rule in many of them, and there's going to be really a focus on expediting these cases. I've been told student-athlete cases are going to have to be solved within 45 days. But the gray area really, Jay, just shifts into that NIL area. What's allowed and what's not allowed will ultimately be the determining factor in whether there is parity or these big brands with these huge competitive advantages can keep them.
So, Falming, you run with it there. If I can pause this and stop the background noise, you run with it. You run with it. By the way, breaking news: Sam got caught up with school, didn't have his phone with him, but he's available now. He says I can hop on whenever. I just figured it was too late. So we're gonna go through this. I'm gonna tell Sam, take his time, 10, 15 minutes, pop in, and we'll run with it. But Falming, tell me what your thoughts were when you saw the house settlement stuff.
Well, initially you think, okay, problem solved, right? That's the idea. We've been waiting on this. I don't think, sorry to be a wet blanket, I don't think this is really helping much of anything. There might be a little bit of parity. Some of these schools that didn't have the, $20.5 million, they're saying it's going to increase in the future. So, the market's just going to expand and explode because at the end of the day, the problem is you can't tell a person, a player, what their value is. You can't tell them what they're allowed to make. If you have a guy that comes in and says a donor or you can't be just a donor, but like say a business wants to give them $1 million, and then this new CEO of College Sports Commission, Brian Seeley, he says no, you can have 100,000. Okay, what's going to happen? You think it's going to be a lawsuit immediately, and who's going to win? The player's going to win because you can't. It's a free market. You can't tell a guy what he's going to make. So I think that's the problem. Then you take this so-called 20 million salary cap. Well, you still get NIL funds on top of it. So you take a school like Tennessee, Ohio State, Penn State, all the big dogs. Like it doesn't stop them from throwing in more and more money. All you've essentially done is added paperwork. All you have to do now, instead of just throwing funds at somebody, we have to word it correctly and then throw funds at somebody. So I don't think that we've really solved anything. A little bit on the Brian Seeley guy. At first, you hear MLB executive, and you're like, well, that's not exactly where I would have went with it. MLB's got lawsuits daily, but this guy's also assistant U.S. attorney in D.C., so he's got a little bit of balance with. He's got litigation experience. He's got pro sports experience, salary cap experience. So if there was a guy that's made for this, maybe this is the guy. But the problem is, it doesn't matter how much power you give him. He can say no to a deal, but more than likely that deal's just going to get overturned in court of law. Yeah, he's got litigation experience, and he may be able to push it to the tenths, but it doesn't matter. You can't tell a kid what he can make.
But do you not think that's spot on? Somebody, Donovan, all regular listener of the show, he's here all the time. He tagged me on Twitter and he said, I think this is going to lead to teams like Georgia gaining dominance back. This is going to go away from parity because it's going to go back to real recruiting, relationships, and all the behind the scenes stuff, and not necessarily money. I said, I think this is just going to lead to a bunch of lawsuits. That's what it's going to lead to because
100%.
But do you not agree that I think what they're trying to do is what they should have done up front?
Yes.
Because they've got a structure that they're trying to put in a salary cap and say everybody can spend X amount of money. But even that's broken because that salary cap, that number that they're all throwing around, I got it here pulled up somewhere. The 20.5 million is across all sports. So that's football, basketball, baseball, softball, everything. So how many sports are going to lose?
Okay, so they threw this. When I first looked it up and just the initial little paragraph before I broke it down, they threw in this one little line. And now I got this straight off of Google. This if you just search NIL house settlement, this is their breakdown. But there's a little line at the bottom. It says payouts individual based on sport, school, and years played. Now, what does that mean? We're going to say, well, football, I mean, that's where we're going to kneel down to. So football is going to get the biggest one. And then you're going to break it down sport by sport. Well, what happens when elite first round baseball pitcher says, well, wait a minute, where's my money? So I don't know, like all these things sound right. All these things sound like you're putting the right foot forward, but you still, what was the problem when we first started all this? We didn't say, I don't want a player to make money. We're saying there's no guardrails. So now I just put up guardrails that you run into and then sue and step over. Like, I don't understand like where they're going to really enforce it. It sounds like just paperwork that's going to get somebody hemmed up. Like the school is going to get hemmed up. Coaches, staff's going to get hemmed up.
But it makes perfect sense though. If we're talking about NIL deals, right? It was like 90% of booster funded NIL deals would be declined based on this new model. And it was based like 80% market value, right?
But who sets that?
The market,
it's never going to stop.
That's why it's broken. It's not going to work. It's going to be lawsuits. But I think what they're trying to do is right. Like, I think you should.
And
but then again, who am I to say what a kid can make on an NIL deal?
You can't. I can't. The president can. It doesn't matter. You can't say what a kid can make. That's the problem.
The president played golf with Greg Sankey.
Can't do it either.
The president played golf with Greg Sankey this week to talk about this crap. Like, it's insanity. It's insanity.
And real quick to touch on the parity thing, because they were talking about the NIL collectives. What happens to the NIL collectives now? Because the school can directly pay. Well, the schools that have elite NIL collectives already are still going to have the advantage because they can make more deals and more agreements for the kids and the players. So the rich are just going to get richer. So if you're coming at this from a parity point, I don't think it's going to hit the mark. If you're coming from this saying like, okay, we're going to put parameters on what a kid can make, you're not going to hit the mark. So I think we just took a chaos situation and threw a bunch of paperwork in it. Like, I don't think it did anything.
Guys, I'm changing my vote. I'm with Tom. It's immoral to pay players. Stop paying all players completely. This has to stop. We must return to amateurism immediately.
Stop it. Stop trolling Tom in the chat. Can you stop?
Power to Tom.
All right. We got to roll on because Sam's in the back room. He's ready to roll. He's ready to jump on. Everything was great. We flipped the show upside down. I appreciate Fowl jumping on with us and just doing it backwards. Hey, we're the kings of improv around here. That's what we do. That's what we do. That's what we did. And we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Fowl, we'll catch up with you later, brother. Appreciate you jumping on. We'll talk soon. All right, we're gonna move on. I need everybody in the chat to do me a favor. Since we did this show backwards, because usually what you guys do, you guys watch the interviews and then you stop watching the stream and you all disappear, but somehow you're still hanging out. So do me a favor, share this thing out. Go to Twitter right now and say, Big Sam's in the house. We're hanging out. We're having a good time. Share this thing, put it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Call up Tom on MySpace and say, Tom, put me in your top 8. Let them know that Talkin VAWLS is live. We're going to bring Big Sam Pendleton on the show. Let's get into it. Let's jump into it. I mean, I don't know that he'll get this. I'm going to get it. You're going to get it. He's an old soul, so I think he may get it. Let's have some fun, Coach. Sam looks like a guy
Hey,
that would
everybody.
listen to 80s music. 80s music. We're going to have a good time.
There you go.
Nothing but a good time. Smash the thumbs up. Share out the link. Let everybody know. Let everybody know that we are live. All right, let's stop. Let's stop that. Let's stop. All right, what's going on, Sam? Appreciate you taking time out of your day. We understand. Hey, look, life comes first. Schedule comes first. School comes first. We were going to yell at Glenn Ellerby. We thought Glenn called a meeting. We thought that's what happened.
No, man, I got buried up with some homework and got time away from me. So I really appreciate y'all making time for me to get back on today. I really do appreciate that.
No worries, man. No worries. We're glad to have you on, dude. We're excited to have you on Rocky Top, and we ask all the hard hitting questions. We don't let you off easy. We hit you with the hard stuff. So we're gonna come right out of the gate. We're gonna talk about drama. We're gonna talk about all the drama. We talk about the important things in life. And, one of those is Morgan Wallen just dropped a new album, I'm the Problem. It's got 37 tracks, almost 2 hours worth of music. Are you a Morgan Wallen fan? You have to be. Come on, man. Don't disappoint me.
Don't put the pressure.
I'm going to be real with you. I'm not a big Morgan Wallen guy. Never grew up as a big pop country guy. He's okay. He's got some good songs. Would I go out and blatantly listen to the guy? Not personally, but me personally, it's just not for me.
I can tell you right now, my wife is on the internet ordering a Sam Pendleton jersey because all she's done at me since that album dropped is fuss at me saying, can you play? She's like, I like Morgan Wallen. He's got some good songs. I don't want to listen to Morgan Wallen in the Jeep, in the pool, in the living room, like 24/7. Can you stop? So I called you an old soul. By the way, AI is wild. AI is wild. I was doing some research, and I typed in your name on Google, and I was just getting some stuff together, and it popped up this whole AI summary. And it's not just you and your playing career. They said that Sam Pendleton is an old soul. And I said, well, I think that's a perfect way to describe him. So if it's not Morgan Wallen, like did mom and dad raise you on James Taylor, Phil Collins? Like, who's Sam Pendleton listening to?
Yeah, I mean, you're really hitting some good names. I will say this. My parents blessed me with a wonderful musical childhood growing up. I mean, I joke with my sister and call myself a multi-genre John, and all this stuff. But don't my friend. That's going to get clipped, and my friends are going to make fun of me for that one. But no, I mean, my parents did actually grow up. I grew up on James Taylor, man. I grew up on Metallica with my dad. I grew up on big one in my house was Pearl Jam. Oh yeah, my dad growing up.
10 Pearl Jam 10 is one of the greatest albums of all time. One of the greatest albums of all time.
It's awesome. It's a great album.
What I love it, dude, because I feel like you're mine and Coach Jay's age. We're in our 40s, and you're speaking my language. Like, I like Morgan Wallen, but I also grew up. My mom raised me on James Taylor. We listen to James Taylor. I love Phil Collins. Who else? James Taylor, Metallica.
So I grew up, and I really enjoyed like old music, like Al Green, stuff like Bill Withers, stuff like Aretha Franklin, stuff like that, like Teddy Pendergrass. Like, that was my jam growing up. I mean, obviously country music, but like I got really into that, bluegrass, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, man.
So I love music. We talk music all the time. So Sam, a question I always ask players when they come on here is about pregame ritual. Are you a music before the game kind of guy when you're in the locker room, or are you kind of like more like a rest kind of guy? What's your pregame ritual? And if you are listening to music, what makes it into that playlist before the game?
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like it depends on like what game it is for me. Like, obviously, I listen to music before the game. It's always up to a certain point, though. Like, at a certain point, I gotta take the headphones off and just kind of hear the noise, let it sink in, and like, I don't know. You playing big games, you kind of need to hear it. You need to hear what's coming before you run out there on the field and it flabbergasts you. That's my personal opinion. Some guys can run out there, headphones on.
Yep.
But what makes it on? Usually it's pretty steady. Like, I have a playlist I usually put on, but on the way, the big playlist for me was personally like on the way to the stadium. Like, that's a big time for me. Like, from the locker room or like from wherever we meet, the hotel to the field. That's a big music time for me. I'm usually listening to like heavy rock, a little bit of metal, stuff like that. Like really big into like tools, stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah.
But always before games, like I always like calm it down just a little bit and put like the always on. Like that's like the last song I usually listen to is it's Delta Dawn is always the last song I listen to for games. And that was something I carried over from freshman year. My very first playing game I played in Stanford. It was like the last game of the year, we beating the crap out of Stanford, and that was like the last song I listened to. We ended up winning that game, so it's kind of like a tradition at that point. So, yeah,
absolutely.
I love. You mentioned big games. You mentioned the big games. Obviously, out of high school, end up going to Notre Dame, spent a couple of seasons there. You transfer to Tennessee, so you're coming to the SEC. You look at that schedule coming up for 2025. You're a Southeastern kid. You know what the SEC means. You know what football means in the Southeast. What's the game circled on the calendar? You can circle 2 or 3 because you can go around the room. You can ask a Tennessee fan, who do you hate the most? It may be Alabama. It may be Georgia. It may be Florida. Some people may say Kentucky or Vanderbilt. Who's circled on the calendar? Who's the big games for 2025?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you look at the schedule and, game 3 pops out at you. I mean, it's always big when you play in Georgia. Them boys are always tough, That's a big one for me personally. Like, I feel like that's going to be a great game on both sides of the ball, on both teams. Alabama is obviously a big game every year. I'm really excited about playing Florida. I feel like they're going to be a good team to play against. Watching their tape, I have a lot of respect for their centers and, like, their offensive line. I feel like they play really well. I feel like they always have really good defensive linemen as well. I feel like they're someone that's always does well in the trenches and always does well with the big guys. So I feel like that's going to be a fun team to play against.
Absolutely. I want to do it, Boogie. I already want to play, man.
Let's do it.
I already want to play. So, Sam, we all love your face mask, and I know Boogie wants to talk about that later. But I wanted to play a little game with you. I wanted to blind rate 1 through 5 some face masks for you. So you can't change them. So we'll show them to you one at a time, and you got to rank them. You got to rank them 1 through 5 here, and Boogie will start off with the first one here.
I love it. So you have no idea what's coming. So you may see this first helmet and rate it a 3.
Yeah,
right.
And then you may see an absolute train wreck. Oh, I like this wrinkle you just threw in, Coach. All right, let's throw the first one up. You got 5 choices. Rank this one 1 through 5.
Ooh, not a big fan of like the wide gaps. I'm gonna go 4 on this.
Okay, gotcha.
This is not a. What about you, Coach? Is this a helmet that you would use in a creative player on EA Sports College Football 25?
No, it's going to be more. It's going to be more middle linebacker-y for me. You know me. I'm a linebacker coach by trade, so it's going to be something more linebacker.
See, I don't hate this if you go black shield and maybe it's a quarterback, running back. If it's running back, though, you need more bars. All right, let's move on. We'll take it. So that's number 4. Coach Jay, you taking notes?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, this is a good one. All right, moving on to number 2.
Ooh, there's the man himself. Wow. That's a really good one. That's pretty dang close to the one I wear. I'm probably gonna go. I don't know. That's a classic. I'm gonna go probably 1 on that one. But I'm a really big fan. I'm a really big fan of the double bar and the 1 bar that goes.
Oh no.
Here. Yeah, Jack Lambert's face mask was kind of like he always had that mean look about him, and he had no front teeth either. That Steelers team was insane. So obviously, I'm a Steelers fan. I don't know if I told y'all that, but growing up, this guy was the man to me.
All right, I got to go to my Twitter DMs. Everything just failed. Okay. So let's go. Whoops. All right. So what'd you say on that one? 2? Did you say that number 2?
Yeah, 2.
Okay.
2.
All right.
Okay, cool.
So let's go to Twitter DMs. All right, here we go.
Ooh. What is his name?
Come on. This is hideous. It's got to be the 5. It's got to be the 5.
I don't like
his last name's Tuck. I can't think of it.
Yeah, Justin. Is it Justin?
Oh, it is
Tuck,
Justin.
I think so.
It is Justin Tuck. Yeah, that is Justin Tuck. See, like growing up, this was sick. Like this was something everyone wanted in Pop Warner football. But once you get in the actual game, I just don't think it's going to be comfortable to wear. Like it's just you can't see clearly your feet. It just seems like it's going to be heavy on the front of your face. I don't know. I'm going to put that at 5. Yeah.
Yep.
I like it. I like it. That's where I'm putting
The
it
all
too.
points are there. I just don't think it's functionally like fun to wear.
Gotcha.
Let's see.
Gotcha. All right, moving on.
All right. I'm trying to not show all of my DMs while also sorting through all these. All right, here we go.
Ooh. That's a bull ring, old school. Is that like Zonka era or is that older?
I think that's like Zonka. It might be right before it.
I like the bull ring. I'm gonna go 3 on that one.
There you go.
Not necessarily.
He's got to live. Okay.
Yeah, that's tough. I like that.
So what do we got left? Just number 1? Is that the only one?
Yeah.
I'm holding out for a good one here.
I like this one.
Ooh, is that Peyton Hillis? Oh yeah. See, that's a good face.
Okay, he can live with that. Yeah.
Is that not Peyton Hillis?
I believe it is Peyton Hillis, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's cool. Like I think these face masks, the ones that have the big thing in the front, the big swoop, like the reverse bull ring. Big fan. Yeah, I like that. I'm happy with that.
That's awesome. Well done,
dude. You're such an old soul. Like what in
I
the
love
world?
it.
Like
I love the
and
player
this
knowledge.
The player knowledge. Like I didn't know who that was, but you know who it was, and like I'm pretty sure that me, Coach Jay, and your parents, I'm pretty sure we're all the same age. But look, here's where AI came into play. Right, I typed in your name. I was putting some notes together, and this is what it said. This is what AI came up with. It said Pendleton is described as having an old school approach to the game, inspired by his father, who played offensive line at William and Mary. I told some jokes about that earlier. I said your dad is the type of dude you're not texting his daughter trying to date her because you're terrified. You're terrified of your old man. Like he's that type of guy. But it says he plays with a unique throwback face mask as a tribute to his father. So is that true or is AI crazy?
No, not necessarily a tribute to my father. My dad, I mean, obviously he played in the mid to late 90s, so he kind of wore that style. But I attribute my love for like old school football to my dad. And like, you know, not necessarily the way I like what I wear and stuff, because my dad doesn't care, and he'll tell you that. He was like, I don't care what you wear, like as long as you're clothed. Just being like, obviously, like he cares. That makes sounds bad, but it doesn't care necessarily what kind of stuff I got on for the game. But yeah, definitely we grew up spending a lot of time on old football. My dad nowadays is not an NFL guy. I'm not really an NFL guy. He's he watches y'all show all the time. He tells me.
Does he really?
Yeah, I was watching Talkin VAWLS, and you gotta tell me if this is true, because it's always funny. He always comes to me. He's like, hey, I gotta fact check this, man. I heard this on the shows, and all
I love it.
So yeah, he stays busy, man.
That's so funny. That's so funny. But I had seen that, but then I also saw, I don't remember if it was your interview with AP or if it was a media appearance where you talked about the Hogs, the Washington Redskins offensive line. And I'm about to turn 44 in 2 days. In 2 days, I'll be 44. I don't know all of the Hogs. I grew up a Washington Redskins fan. I know Joe Jacoby. I know, you're talking about the late 80s, early 90s. Yeah. So I was born in 81. So when the Redskins won the Super Bowl in 91, 10-year-old Boogie, Fairweather fan, I'm all in. I love Mark Rippon. I love Art Monk. I love Gary Clark, Timmy Williams. I love the Redskins, but I probably couldn't tell you their offensive linemen's names as a 10-year-old. So how in the world are you, that I'm old enough to be your dad, and where does that come from? Are you watching old YouTube clips, old YouTube videos, old film? Where does that come from?
So a little of my background, when I got to college, my offensive line coach that recruited me, Harry Heastan, left, and Joe Rudolph came from Virginia Tech, and he had a lot of background with an old assistant line coach at the Washington Redskins back when they had just drafted what is his name? He's the best lineman in the NFL right now. What's his name?
I don't watch the NFL, so I couldn't tell you.
He plays for the 49ers. He's like the man.
I know who you mean. I can't think of him.
Yeah,
49ers offensive lineman.
Everyone's gonna.
What's his name?
Trent Williams.
Trent Williams.
Yep.
Yeah, they had Trent Williams, and they had all this practice tape. So I was like, I never really dug into it, and I'm like, I'm gonna go check out all these old school guys. 'Cause my dad always talked to me about, talking about the Hogs and these guys were just so together. Joe Jacoby had Hog. And
Big Ant knows who you were talking about before you did, by the way. Big Ant's in the chat. I put up the bat signal. I called Ant or texted his dad and said, "Can you get Ant to message Sam? I don't know where he's at." Anyway, please continue.
Yeah, man. But no, I completely forgot. Oh, but yeah, I mean, just looking at that kind of tape, and I was just like, I need to learn more about this because I've always loved old ball, and I want to. And I think the biggest drive for me earlier in life to learn about older ball was because I wanted to talk to my dad about it. You want to be like an older guy and talk to your dad about what he's talking about and understand what he's talking about. So
love that.
It's so funny. Me and my dad we'll sit in the basement for an hour or two and just talk about old ball players. So like, oh, where'd this guy play college ball? Or like, oh, do you remember this guy? Or like, well, let me tell you about this guy. Like, it's a great time. And that's kind of how I got into the Hogs, and I just did a little more research. And my actual offensive line coach from high school played at Clemson back in '81 with Fridge Perry and players like Jeff Bostic and stuff like that. Like Jeff Bostic was the center for the Hogs. It's super interesting who you meet and like the connections you find. So yeah, sorry.
Your dad played with Mike Tomlin, right? I think I read that today. Is that accurate?
Yeah, my dad played at William & Mary with Mike Tomlin and Sean McDermott and players. I mean, those guys played with my dad, so it's pretty neat.
I love that. By the way, don't take that for granted. Your relationship, I love your relationship with, and from the outside looking in, like I can just scroll through Twitter and see that your family is tight knit. Like I can tell that you're close to your sister. I love that, and your mom and dad. Like I love it. So don't take that for granted. And I don't think you will. I think you seem very wise, very mature for your age. Let me catch up with the chat real quick. Chase Tidwell has been a member for 32 months. Says go Vols. Shout out Chase. We appreciate you. Robert Tuck for 2. Welcome in, Sam. Glad to have you on Rocky Top. Shout out Robert. We appreciate you. Dave's been a member for 2 years. Says running late, but it looks like I'm right on time. Welcome to Rocky Top, Sam. Shout out Dave. We appreciate you, my man. John Edwards for 5 says welcome to Vol Nation, Sam. So happy and excited to have you. I was pumped when you said no one touches my quarterback. Love the attitude. Welcome home. I love that clip. I played that clip at the beginning of the show. I love that too. You seem like this such a kind human being, but dude, don't come after mine. I love that clip. Corey Cook for 2. Who do you want? Oh, come on. Who do you want at quarterback? He wants to protect his quarterback. He doesn't care if it's Jake, George, or Joey Aguilar. Go ahead, Coach. Take over.
You know what I want to know is I want to know what your favorite blocking scheme is. That's what I'm always interested to know out of my offensive lineman is what if you could pick any blocking scheme, what's it going to be?
See, it's hard for me just because I'm a really big fan of like duo gap scheme, just grind the ball. But then again, there's something beautiful about like pin and pull or power and stuff, like just getting the play schemed up and like working per beautifully. Like, but I'm gonna have to go like duo gap scheme. Like, let's just run the ball. Let's just run area scheme. Let's run hand scheme. Let's just walk the ball down the field.
There you go. That was the right answer, Boogie. It's exactly what I want to hear.
Let's walk the ball down the field. I'm pretty sure he knows that we've led the conference in rushing the last 2 years. We're going to run the football down your throat. But let's keep talking a little ball here. We're having fun, and we're going to continue to have fun. We're going to have even more fun a little bit later in the show. But let's talk about the offensive line because the fans, a lot of the fans, anytime I talk about the offensive line, they're concerned. And I'm a fan too. I'm not concerned, but I'm a little glass half full versus glass half empty. We're replacing 4 new starters, right? Cooper Mays has been the center at Tennessee since Josh Heupel took the job. We got to replace him. Spraggs, Dane Davis, Jackson Lampley. There's a lot of veteran guys that are now gone. It's the familiar faces that we've seen. And I like my theme that I've been saying in a lot of videos when I'm talking about the offensive line, when I'm talking about the wide receiver room, just because it's new doesn't mean that it's bad. New can be better. New can be an improvement. So you coming in, transferring from Notre Dame, you walk into that room, you start to go to work. What do you like about that room? What do you like about the guys that are around you in that room?
Yeah, I mean, coming in the room, like right off the bat, you see like we're all really young guys. I think there's one guy older than my class, which is class of 23, which is kind of crazy to me. But you get here with young guys, and I think that's a good thing. A lot of people view us as young people as being not able or unprepared. And I've always had someone told me one time, and it was a coach told me that you never learn how to play football without playing football. And I've heard my fair share of year two experience, year two unexperience, yada yada yada. And I just it's not about how much experience you have; it's about how much preparation you do. And that's one thing that I think that Coach Ellerby and Coach Heupel is putting a very big emphasis on, especially in even when I got here in the spring in January, they were putting an emphasis on rebuilding the way we handle ourselves, rebuilding the standard on what we expect. And that comes from not just up top, but comes from each room. And I feel like that we've done a really good job of just, especially in the offseason, just digging into what we believe in and just kind of getting in the mud. And because, like you said, we lost 4 starters. You have guys that have been there, Coach Hype's entire career. So people, it's hard to change. It's hard to get away from what's comfortable, and it's hard to do something that's a little, I guess, risky, you could call it, for sure. And I feel like just, Coach Hype, we talked to Coach Hype, he throws his comments in here and there. He's not giving us full conversations about it, but, I feel like he has a lot of belief in what we do on offense. And I feel like it's just our job on the offensive line just to, be the facilitators, be the guys that make stuff happen. So, yeah, man.
I know you've played, you've taken reps, guard, center. Do you have a preference? Where do you like? And don't get yourself in trouble. Do you think you end up at center? Do you think because one of the things too is like William Satterwhite is a guy that it's like again that a lot of eyes are on William Satterwhite because he was a blue chip prospect. He's a guy that we've been waiting to take over, and now it's your turn. It's been Coop for 4 years, and now it's your turn. Do you see yourself at center, at guard? Do you have a preference, or is it like, hey, coach, wherever you need me, I'm game?
Yeah, coming in, I play all interior 3 pretty. I mean, I'm flippable. I'm comfortable playing all 3. So I've always kind of had the mindset that put me in, coach. I'll play wherever you want me to play. I really do enjoy playing center. I really do enjoy playing guard. I'll split a lot of time at both right now, just trying to figure out like what's the best fit because, you got to do its best to fit in the best way with the best 11. And that's the way I've always been told. That's the way they handle things. Most places, you're going to play your best 11. So wherever that best 11 is, if I'm on there, if I'm not, that's how it'll be. So I'm excited.
Coach, you see, let me tell you something, Sam. We sell merchandise here. Our audience can go to bonfire.com/store/talking balls. We got all kinds of fun shirts. We got clean shirts for the kids that say beat Bama, beat Georgia. We've got some offensive shirts. I don't even know what it means, but somebody told me to put the letters FUGA on a shirt and sell it. I said, I don't know what that means, but I'll sell it if you guys want it. We have a shirt that says Buck Fama. We also have a shirt that says Coach J, you're muted, because he doesn't know how to do YouTube. He doesn't know how to put on an interview. But now that we cleared that out of the way, go ahead, Coach. I bet you said 3 seconds of just the best.
It was the greatest session of all time. We can just stop there. No, but I want to talk about, look, a lot of people talk about how fast Heupel's offenses go, right? And how quickly they move. Has that been something, number one, that's, new to you? And number two, I'm going to hit you with like 3 questions. Sorry. Number 2, has that been an adjustment? And number 3, I know a lot of volunteer fans in here, if I kind of hit you with a tough end of this question, have been a little frustrated with some of the false starts that come with an offense that moves that quickly. Is that something that's just viewed as the price of doing business in such a fast offense, or how's that kind of tackled in practice, if you don't mind sharing? And if you do mind, just tell me to shut up.
No. Coming from an offense that was a little more methodical and a lot more like window pressing, it definitely was a big change for me. Growing up in the area I grew up in, it was a lot of triple option, old school, country football. But once I got out to the city where I played in high school, it was pro style, so we were a little more speed. And then we tried to implement some tempo in some past places I've been. But here, you really get into true sprint down the field, cover the ball. This is how we're going. And it's almost like you're running like your dang head's on fire, just trying to get to the next play. And I understand it took me a while to understand the methodology behind it and like why you would do something that would, bring about so many offsides penalties, like you said. And that's something that's been not to jump around in the question, but I'm going to jump around at the end here for a second.
Please.
That's something that's really been addressed in the offensive staff room. I mean, not staff room, the offensive unit meeting rooms, like something that we're making a priority, I think, to be more disciplined. Coach Ellerby does a lot of things with us that helps us with our ears and helping us. And one of the things he kind of tells us is just to know where your sound comes from. Obviously, the stadiums we play in, it's going to be loud. You're not going to be able to hear everything the way you want it to be heard all the time. You kind of just have to do hard things and hear the quarterback clap his hands. That's kind of your job. And that's for everybody, and that's one thing the O-line, I think, is taking a lot more serious. We do a lot of things where it's people making all kinds of commotion, pre-snap, doing stuff, jumping in our face. Nothing, not that we don't jump off sides, because it's practice, but I think we're making a big effort to make that a priority and make it that something that, because you're right, if you look at the stats last year, we hurt ourselves more on offsides penalties than I think on any other penalty, maybe other than on sportsmanlike, but moving up and down the field with the speed we do, we can't have a hitch in the more than anybody. And, that's just something that puts a little hitch in it, and I really do enjoy the system I play in now. Trying to jump back to the first part of the question. I do enjoy the system that we're in. I feel like it allows you a little more freedom because not only are you tired, the people across from you are tired, because let's be real, we're all college athletes, but we get tired too. It's very apparent. I'm not a thin guy by any stretch of your imagination, but it's definitely something that pulls on the deepest thing you have in you, though. It's play 12 and you're on the goal line. You got to buckle up, son, because you draw the reserve. Put everything you got in the tank and pour it on the fire. So it's something that really I've really enjoyed being a part of for sure.
That's awesome.
I love it. Well, let me hit this real quick. Tyler Harrison, member for 14 months, says GBO can't wait for the season to start. Sam, what is it like playing at Neyland? What do you think it will be the biggest game this year? Thank you for all you do. You've not played in Neyland yet. Oh, well, spring game, but that ain't even close to what you're about to experience. And we talked about the biggest game earlier for you. So shout out, Tyler. Appreciate you. I love this question. John Edwards for 10. How has it been playing with Big Dave? Because you played side by side with him, right? Him at tackle, you at right guard. Says you two on right guard and tackle. Super exciting. Also, what game are you most excited for this year? Thanks so much for being a Vol and GBO.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. So, Dave, he's another North Carolina guy. We kind of left high school in two different I wouldn't say eras, but
love me some Big Dave. Sorry,
Big Dave did that. No, me and Big Dave. So he actually sits right beside me in the meeting room as well. So me and Dave talk quite a bit. He's from Charlotte. I'm from 2 hours north of there. So we kind of have the whole North Carolina connection thing. But dude, Dave, playing beside him, you see, y'all run the show. Y'all know how the guy is. He's athletic. He pops off the line. He's just one of those guys that you see athletically and physically on the field. You just can tell he's an athlete. You can tell he's a ball player. And he's a young guy, but for a young guy, he picks up the game so well. I think he has a really good understanding of how the game functions within itself, and I think he's getting the feel for the tempo for sure. I think that's one of the hardest things, not necessarily just the tempo we play at, but just the tempo of the game in general. He's definitely getting used to that for sure. He's putting on weight, man. He's getting heavy. He's like 300 pounds now, so he's balling out. So I'm really excited to see what he does. I feel like he's gonna be a guy for sure. So I'm excited. Yeah, but it's been awesome playing with him.
We kind of talk about this with everybody that comes through. We talk about the culture because culture is a buzzword. Every college uses it in recruiting, family, culture, all that type of stuff. But talking to you, talking to Dave, talking to Big Ant, talking to Bennett Warren, it's everybody that comes through this show that we have the opportunity to talk to and engage with. You're all well-spoken. You're all respectful. You called me Mr. Bentley in the DM. I'm like, come on, son. That's my dad. That's my dad. I'm Boogie. I'm Boogie. It's but you're all just good people, right? Like, speak to the culture of that locker room and what you've seen in your time on Rocky Top. Is it and I'm not asking you to bury Notre Dame or speak illy of Notre Dame, but is it different than the other locker rooms you've been in?
No, and you're right. I do definitely believe it's different in a sense, and I think it's different for me just because it's different being a freshman somewhere and then transferring somewhere, for sure. That being said, I'm a Southern guy, and you get down here with these Southern guys at this Southern school, it feels like home. You get around people that are like-minded, and you don't have to deal with some of the I believe this, and a lot of people call me crazy, but everyone says Midwest folks are real nice and everything, and like everybody up north. But I've been up north, and everybody in Chicago ain't too nice. And I remember I got down here a week, and I was like, I really enjoy being around folks that kind of hold the same ideals as I was growing up with. Hold the door, use your manners, be able to keep yourself, hold yourself in the right way in public, and have integrity. And that's one thing I think this locker room has. I think this locker room has grown a lot since I've even been here. Me and some of the guys on the team, the older guys, some of the leader dudes have talked about it, like just talking about culture from the outside in, because, guys approached me talking about, because I'm kind of a stranger on the team there at the beginning. I didn't really know much about anybody, didn't really know much about the culture. So it was a good way for some of the leaders on the team to gauge like how everything was, looking. And it was a real conversation I had. The chemistry has gotten so much better with the team, I believe, just because of the way Coach Hype runs things. Like, his punishment system is brutal, but you mess up and we have to all be punished because it's not just one person. Coach Hype does it all together. So it's affecting all. That takes care of a lot of things internally. I think it's never. You say that people are like, oh, y'all beat you guys up and make them listen, and all that. But no, I think there's just a general respect for people. Like when we mess up now, it's not, oh, well, you mess up too. It's, oh, guys, I'm sorry, that's not the standard. And then it's going in a direction where I think that this season is going to be something special for sure.
I hope Tom in the chat's listening. Tom likes to talk about discipline and yell and complain and gripe. Sometimes you don't know what's going on. Sometimes you don't know the real story. We got a couple of super chats that have some fun questions. So, Coach, we're going to let them drive the show for a minute. Robert Tuck for 2, and I had this in my notes. I just hadn't hit it yet. Says, Sam, what made you know UT was the place for you? I mean, you played in the national championship game with Notre Dame. You hopped in the portal shortly after. No contact tag. It's quick. It's easy. You're coming to Tennessee. What was it? They recruited you out of high school, but what made Tennessee the place for you?
Yeah, man. They definitely, Coach Ellerby and Coach Hype, they recruited me out of high school, like you said. Talked a lot to Ellerby throughout high school. I thought he was an awesome guy. Like, more things, things that catch your attention is like how people treat your family, how people treat you, how people care about your time. Because I don't think some people, especially in recruiting, don't understand how much your time matters, especially. And that sounds I think it sounds very not rude, but kind of pompous of me to say that, but it's true. Like, you want to talk to people that you want to talk to, and it's a realization thing. And Coach Ellerby was always the guy who was, he'd call you at like 7 o'clock and not 9:30. He'd call you and talk to you for 20 minutes and let you go. And I always respected the way he carried himself. So, when I decided the portal was the best option for me, jumped in the portal. I think Hype called me that morning because the crazy thing is when I put in the portal, I put in, the day prior, and it says, well, sometime in the next 24 hours you'll be put in. So you never know when it's going to happen. Woke up at like 7 o'clock to phone calls. Coach Hype's calling me, telling me to get down to Knoxville. I was like, all right, well, I'm on the way, But one thing I think, some of the things that definitely made it a place for me is, I've been in and out of Knoxville growing up as a child. We have family friends down here. I love Knoxville. I think it's one of the most interesting towns I've been to. It's more of a town, sorry, it's a city. But it doesn't feel like a city. It's one of those cities where you can go downtown and feel like it's, you're in town. You get nice little places you can go eat, boutique stuff for your mama and stuff like that. But then you can go 20 minutes outside of town, you're in the boonies. I mean, you're out there in the sticks. I mean, you're out there in the hills, and it's something very, very cool to me because I grew up in a very rural area, and it was something that kind of appealed to me. Like, you're down here on the river, feels like you're kind of back in the hills a little bit. So, looking to like locationally, and then obviously scheme and football and everything else I've talked about, that's just made it a perfect fit.
One more quick question from Ron the Don for 5. Do you prefer pancake blocks or snot bubble knocks on your opponents? Asking for a friend with a loose screw. Uncle Ron does have a loose screw, but
that's a really good question. That you're the first person I've seen use that term other than my dad.
Right.
My dad brought snot bubbles to your all that kind
program.
Of
I was going to say, have you ever seen the movie The Program?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's
okay.
Yeah, there you go. That's why your dad. He's basically me and Coach Jay made up.
Great people.
Great movie. Personally, dude, you hit someone and you blow snot out their nose. It's something. It's something like you're pulling on counter and you just blow the crap out of the DN and he's just sitting there for a minute thinking about his life. That's a pretty good film. I'm gonna have to go with that one. The snot bubble knockdown for sure.
I love it. I love it. We got over 200 people watching. Guys, smash the thumbs up, share out the link, all that good stuff. I do appreciate you taking the time to come on. When you called me Mr. Bentley and offended me, and I'm not Mr. Bentley, I'm Boogie. I'm your equal, not your father. But like you were so respectful, you were so kind. It's like you said I don't really do these things. And it kind of blows my mind when you sit back and you're like, a lot of people speak highly of what you guys do. That I appreciate that, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on here. But we've talked enough football. We've talked enough real life. Let's, Coach Shea, you ready to drag him through the mud a little bit?
Let's have fun.
You ready to hit him with some rapid fire questions? These are random, crazy, wild questions that are going to be all over the place. You can expand as much as you want. You can give a one-word answer. You want to kick us off, Coach?
Yeah, I'll go. Who's the most likely person on the team to walk around wearing Crocs and thinks it's cool?
William Satterwhite. Always got some type of it's me. I think he's got 2 different pair of Crocs, but he wears these blue Crocs, I swear, every day.
I love how quick the answer was.
Yeah, immediate answer.
I love that. I love it. All right, Boogie, go.
This is my favorite question. I ask it all the time to everybody that comes on. It's the zombie apocalypse. The world is ending. Everybody's dying. Zombies are everywhere. You get to choose. It's you, 4 teammates, and a coach to be on your survival team. So who are the 4 teammates and who is the coach? And give me a little something. Don't just say, well, this guy, that guy, this guy. Why are you choosing these guys? You be strategic. 4 players and a coach.
Okay, that's good. Off rip, I'm gonna go coach. I'm gonna go Rhett Brooks, one of our strength coaches. That guy, he's one of the guys that kind of scares you a little bit, but he's like very outdoorsy, very knows what he's doing, knows his way around the outdoors. I feel like he'd be a good asset to have. Teammates, let's think. I'd probably go Lance. All right, let me explain this first. So Lance from Monroe, kind of out there in the middle of nowhere. He's a kind of a country guy himself. He knows his way around some weapons. You live out there in the sticks long enough, you find a BB gun here or there, you find out. So I feel like he would know, and Lance is just dude. Just he's gonna make it a fun time at some point. He's gonna yell at somebody at some point. It'll be fun. Number 2, I'd probably go Jeremiah Thielander. I feel like that's a pretty standard answer. That guy. I mean, y'all know more about him than I do, but he one of the guys that stands out as a leader. I feel like he could be one of the guys that leads us to victory here if we're we're fighting the zombies or whatever. But strong guy, just a will like no other. He's one of those guys that just kind of goes until he physically can't anymore. Number 3, I'll probably go with let's get I don't know. Let's go Miles Kitselman. Experienced vet guy,
leader.
You need him there for wisdom. You got T there for tenacity, and then you got Miles there for wisdom. Just leading us in the right direction there. And then wrapping it up, we need someone fast. Let me think. I know who we're gonna. Give me Deshaun Bishop.
Okay.
Quiet but stoic guy. Always got his head in the game. I feel like that's a winning group there.
I love it. I love that question, and I love the responses you gave. Got me a little fired up. I'm ready for some Jeremiah T-Lander in 2025 if I wasn't already. Todd Landers for 2 says biscuits and gravy or beans and cornbread. I hope you give the right answer on this.
Give me biscuits and gravy. I can't.
That's the right answer.
That's right.
Yeah. I'll get beans somewhere else, but I can't get rid of biscuits and gravy.
I can't. Hold on. I don't want to hijack you yet, Coach, but I'm gonna hijack you because we're talking food, and you know why I love the.
I'll stay on topic.
We have hosted more offensive linemen than anything else because we have one thing in common. That's we like to eat.
Amen.
I went to Guy's Flavor Town. Took the kids down to Dollywood yesterday, and leaving, I was like, I want some Guy's Flavor Town. We stopped. Sam, I don't know if you've been there. The man serves a hamburger with bacon and cheese and pickles and the whole 9 yards. On a donut glazed bun. And it was the best thing. I'm telling you, you may question it, you may doubt it. It was electric. He served Philly cheesesteak, egg rolls. It's an egg roll.
That sounds pretty good.
With shaved steak inside, shaved ribeye inside, some little bit of onions with a cheese dipping sauce. It's delicious. So we have to talk food. You answered biscuits and gravy. That was the right answer. What's your favorite food? What's your favorite restaurant? What's your go-to?
Right. Favorite food, any burger, steak, any kind of beef. I'm a big beef guy. Grew up on a farm, so always beef. Favorite restaurant? Ooh. Are we talking like fast food restaurant? Or are we talking about in general?
I mean, I got all night. We can go fast food. We can go sit down.
We can talk food all night, Sam.
I love talking food.
Okay, favorite restaurant. One of the favorite restaurants I've ever been to. I went to a restaurant and it was in Savannah, Georgia, and it was Paula Dean's restaurant. She has a restaurant in Savannah, Georgia, and I went with my cousin and my mama, and my dad. No, my dad didn't go. My sister went, and there was a fried chicken buffet, so good, divine. But for like chain stuff, I'm a big Bojangles guy for breakfast. I love a Cajun filet biscuit. It's dangerous. And then I'd say for like everything else, I'm pretty easy. Like I really enjoy like Five Guys, stuff like that. So yeah, man.
Bojangles fries with ranch dressing is hard to beat. Oh, it's so good. I'm not going to talk food all night, but go ahead. Keep going.
I want one follow up. If there's a food eating competition between all the O linemen, who's winning?
Let me think a minute. I don't know. Probably either Jesse Perry. That kid, he doesn't look like a big fat guy, but he eats like oh my gosh. He's eating every time I see sits down. Or probably I don't know. Because I don't want to
offend them. Offend them all. I'm going to clip this and put it on all social media.
Probably Gage. Yeah, probably either Gage or
okay. Yeah, I could see it. Okay.
Yeah. Love it.
I like it.
For sure, man.
All right, Coach, take over. Take us down because I could talk food all night. Go ahead.
Man, I got to pivot from food. All right, let's go. You know what? Gosh, I don't want to be too weird. What's the strangest thing a fan has ever said to you?
Hold on a second. I had this in my notes, and I said it's too weird. I said, what is the weirdest fan interaction or social media? And I said, that's too weird, but it's too late. You got to answer now.
All right. He can refuse if he needs to.
I've had some pretty funny ones. In person, I had. All right, let me think for a second.
Yeah. Okay. In person, we were at
I guess this was Texas A&M last year.
Mm.
And it was college game day, so everything was like really full.
Week 1. Yep.
Week 1 at night. We're walking out of the game, and the funniest thing is, after the game, the guys get on these little electric scooters and drive back to their dorms, but they have to leave out of like the Sam hallway the visitor locker room is. So there's all these like families and fans sitting out there where our fans are, like when we're trying to get on the buses. And I'll never forget that someone looked at me and someone told me, they're like, "You look fat." It's from like the back of the crowd. And I like look, it caught me off guard, and it was just like a very weird thing to say to a fat guy, like, "You look fat." I know I do. You know, kind of the whole point of the facade here. I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's all these kinds of bits. A big thing that like that everyone like gave me crap about was there's a video of me blowing a kiss on the field. I don't know if you saw that, but I got a lot of crap for that. But I was actually blowing my mom a kiss. We're on like the 15-yard line. She's like on the 3rd row in the end zone, and I got a lot of crap from like internet trolls and stuff like that. But the funniest one, I think, sorry to keep talking, but the funniest one
hit it.
I was in recruiting in high school, and I had someone DM me on Instagram. And this is back when like I didn't have any stars. I wasn't anybody to talk about, but he sent me like a picture of himself. I kid you not. In full, I kid you not. I can't make this up. In full, like NC State, like he had the face buff things that you slide over.
Mm-hmm.
He had one over his face that was like a Wolfpack thing. And then I ended up committing where I go, and he sends me a voice message the next day on the same DM. And he's like he's screaming no, like you could have been the one. Like you've seen Star Wars, you know, when like Anakin, it's that.
Yeah.
It's to this day one of the funniest things I've ever received from a random person.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Let's what do I want to do? I like because I'm fat. I want to talk more about food. So we've talked about food, what you like. You like Bojangles. You like meat. You like beef. Coach A usually likes to ask this. You're building a burger, hamburger. All the toppings are available. The best beef you could possibly get. The best bun. The best toppings. What are you going to put on that burger? Build your best burger.
That's a good question. I'm going to give you a little disclaimer. Sorry, my phone's going to die here. I'm going to give you a little disclaimer. I don't eat condiments at all. Ketchup, mayonnaise, mustard, period. Real strange. Build my own burger. I'm going to go brioche bun for sure. I'm going to go 2 quarter-pound pure beef Angus, certified beef.
80-20? You going 80-20? What's the percent?
As long as
it does matter. My wife's telling me on 93.7. I'm like, this I got to put so much stuff 80, on this. 80-20 is perfect. You got to have some fat on it. You got to have some fat on it.
You got to have some fat in there. So you got to have 2 patties, and you got to have 2 slices of cheese per patty. Personally, big pepper jack guy on a burger.
Oh, me too. My go-to.
It's not overwhelming. It's still cheesy, but it's got a little, little bite on there. I'm gonna go, pepper jack cheese, bacon, and that's probably it. Just cheese and bacon. I'm good to go.
Nothing wrong with that.
You sound like my daughters.
Nothing wrong with that.
John Edwards for 2 says fast food. You gotta try. Have you had Pals yet?
What is that?
So it is a local chain in the Tri-Cities. So John Fulgerson played basketball at Tennessee. Really made it famous because he played basketball at Dobbins Bennett, Kingsport, Tennessee. Then he had success at Tennessee, and I think he had a Pals NIL deal, and I think that's what kind of got it going. But I'm in the Northeast. I'm in Northeast Tennessee, so Pals is a regular. It's a go-to for me. Coach Jay came and stayed with me. He's out in California. Him and his wife came out and stayed with us. I'm like, we got to hit up Pals. Him and his wife, they drank too much. I didn't partake. I drank water all night. They drank too much, and then we couldn't go get Pals the next day. You got to try it, man. But I don't know what the closest one to you is. Because it's like it's a Tri-Cities thing, which is like an hour and a half away from you. So I don't know. Which you could hit it coming back to North Carolina.
Yeah.
Like, would you drive through like like
Yeah.
Kingsport, Johnson City, Bristol on the way back to? Yeah.
There you go.
Do you go over the mountain, like over the mountain and through Asheville?
I try. I usually do, yeah, and come out and go through Whitfield and all that, yeah.
Yeah. So when you come through the Tri-Cities, you could hit up Pals, and it will. I don't know. I've heard like locals love it, and I've heard people from out of town say, "Well, it must be a local thing. Like it's nothing special." You guys have kind of built it up more than. I love me some Pals. Corey Cook for 2 says, "What's the most improvement you've made since arriving at Tennessee?"
Yeah, personally, improving like on my weight. I came in pretty light, not just long season. It's going to drag down your weight, but put some weight on. Really happy with where I'm at right now, and just I think learning, just kind of trying to become a veteran mindset in the game, trying to instead of working towards learning something, or working towards perfecting and like mastering the things I already know. Just try to like put a little more priority in the little things and the small things you don't think about, and the small things day to day that you can do to get better, that you don't need to make crazy changes in your life for. So stuff I'm working on.
We're going to get Big Sam out the door here, but Coach Jay, do you have a serious question or a fun question? We're going to end on a fun question. So you choose.
It's kind of a player question, I think.
Okay, you go first.
I know he's only been there. I know he's still got summer left, and he's been new to the team. But I talked to a lot of players, obviously, and I played myself. But is there a guy yet on the team that like it's just annoying as crap to try to block him? That it's just like a pain in the tail to try to block him.
That.
Because on the other side, I always have an O lineman that I was like, damn it, I hate when I've got to like shoot the gap against that guard. I just can't beat his hands or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Dude, there's always like, okay, going through spring ball. This is, I would say, for me personally, not necessarily for everybody, but I hate playing against Bryson. I don't think that's the answer everyone's going to give, but for me personally, playing inside with him all day. And the funny thing is, I mean, I lift with Bryson and Dom that was my lift group for every day during the winter. I mean, for the 2 months, so I got pretty tight with those guys. But every day you get down there in the trenches and you're going against. He's such a veteran guy with his hands, just like Coach Jay was talking about. Like you see somebody that has good hands. I think that's a priority. I think that's the biggest thing in college football is it's not about being strong. It's about being good with your hands, good with your feet, against, and he's very irritating because he's good at like pinning your hand to your body, and then you can't do anything. And then obviously, I really don't like blocking Jeremiah T. Landry that often personally. Because, you run like power and you're pulling around and there's T. I mean, he's not going to stop, so you either got to run in.
Running full speed through the hole, right? Yeah.
It feel very good when he catches you off guard. It makes you realize.
I love that in a linebacker. Yeah.
But yeah, for sure.
I love it. We're going to hit a couple of quick ones from the chat. Tim Rice has been a member for 27 months. We appreciate you, Tim. J Pat says, "What steak and what temp? Medium rare."
Yeah, I'm a ribeye medium rare guy. My dad would kill me any other way.
Yeah, I'm a filet mignon medium. What are you, Coach?
Out of cuts of steak. Ooh, yeah, medium rare for sure. I mean, I like a filet, but what's it? Why is it? I'm drawing a blank. The outside piece of the ribeye, when you wrap it real tight and smoke it medium rare. Oh, man, that's
See, my thing is,
I'm
drawing
a complete blank on the name of that piece of that steak, but
I never trust them to cook it right. Bob for 2 says, "Go to Waffle House meal."
Yeah, love Waffle House. By the way, I eat Waffle House almost every Sunday morning for brunch. I have the grit bowl with a side of hash browns. I have sausage egg, and then I get a side of toast and a side of bacon. And I mix the hash browns in with my grit bowl and then eat everything like that.
Oh, I love it.
Oh.
See, we love to talk food.
I love
around
breakfast.
here. Man, I wanted to ask a fun question, but I'm going to send you out with a sentimental question. And I think if I can judge you, if I'm a good judge of character, I think I know the answer. Who's your hero and why?
Now, I'll say this. I'd say both my parents are my hero just because I can't single out who sacrificed more for me in my life. Getting serious for a minute, like, you know, I live in a very rural community. I moved an hour away from my house in high school to play high school football, to be able to be in the situation I am today. My mom homeschooled us. She works on the farm. I mean, she stays busy. I've got an 8-year-old brother. All that to say, just the amount of sacrifice, the amount of work that my parents put into me being here today, I just can't repay them. And just seeing like the stuff they did and the stories they tell and the kind of the role models they are in my life, just as, you know, my mom's a big role model for me in my life, just as a person in general. My mom's a very wise person, as, you know, person to person, very, very personal person, knows how to talk to people, knows how to understand the situation. And I feel like I learn a lot from her every day about how to be a better person, be a better man. And then my dad's always just been a guy who's been solid in my life. Like, he's been probably the most solid role model I've had in my life, period. And I just, you know, my parents are people that I can ask any question to, regardless of how severe, how stupid, or how crazy it is. My parents are always there to say, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. And that's the kind of mindset I want to have, the what we're going to do mindset, instead of the, oh, well, you know. And that's just one thing that I just, you know, I'm very thankful to have in my life, is my two parents, for sure.
Absolutely.
And I love that. I love that you recognize it. Like we do a charity stream every year to benefit Fisher House Foundation, which supports men and women of the troops that, like, if they need it's like a Ronald McDonald House for the men and women of the troops. But there's a girl that I worked with for 20 years. And so it's kind of like I saw their daughter grow up, and they made sacrifices, and she plays for the Lady Vols softball team. And it's like I saw those sacrifices when Cameron was 5, 6, 7 years old, 10 years old, middle school, high school. They were making sacrifices. And we asked her a similar type question, and she recognizes that, right? She recognizes, you know, she's athletically gifted. She puts in the work just the same as you. You're athletically gifted. You work hard, you put in the work, but you still understand that if mom and dad didn't make the right sacrifices, then maybe I wouldn't be where I'm at. So I love that answer. I'm glad I went the sentimental route instead of asking you what your go-to karaoke song is. But maybe, just maybe, we'll get you back on and we'll hit that next time. Sam, we appreciate you, man. Look, we understand life is chaotic. Life happens. I'm glad we worked it out and you got to jump on with us. I appreciate it. We're excited. I'm excited to see what that offensive line room looks like. We're excited to see you guys go to work. I think Wendell, big additions in the portal. Can't wait to see what Big Dave does. Lance, whether William Satterwhite plays center or you play center, gold jacket, green jacket, we don't care. If you're wearing the power tee, we support you. So if you need anything from me, you need anything from Coach Jay, you hit us up, you let us know. We're going to let you drop, but I want you to speak to Vol Nation. The chat is listening. Just say whatever's on your mind to the Tennessee fan base.
Yeah, man, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Bentley and Coach Jay for having me on. Sorry for the tardiness to everybody, and I just really appreciate them being flexible. Just about the season, you know, I know I'm a new face. I know I'm someone you don't really know a lot about, but, you know, what I say on here is what I believe in. I'm not a different person than I am. You can come approach me. You see me in the everyday world. You know, I'm the same person every day. I try to be. You're going to get the best version of myself. You know, I can't do hardly anything by myself in this game, but you know, I just know you're going to get a great Vols football team this year. I know we're going to come out there and play every game with intentionality, and I know we're going to come out there and play every game with some fire in our butt and, you know, run the ball. So I'm excited for the season.
I love it. We're going to run it down their throats. We're going to lead the conference in rushing for the third straight year. We're going out the door for Sam, for Coach Jay. My name's Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Don't forget, next Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Colton Hood, defensive back transferred in from Colorado, is going to be in the house. We're going to talk to him the following Wednesday. Big Ant, Anthony Agamore, is going to be in the house. And I got a wild card up my sleeve for that next Wednesday. We'll see if we can make it happen. But shout out Coach Jay. Shout out Sam. We appreciate you. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.